following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
Baseball began in a bright green field with an ancient name when this country was new and raw and without shape. And it has shaped America by linking every summer from 1846 to this one through wars and depressions and seasons of rain. Baseball is one of the few enduring institutions in America that has been continuous and adaptable and in touch with its origins. As a result, baseball is not simply an essential part of this country. It is a living memory of what American culture at its best wishes to be.
Welcome to Oakland, California. Game 1 of the 1989 World Series. An aerial view of the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. The 5th time the World Series has been held here. They're calling it the Battle of the Bay. They're also calling it baseball, as the San Francisco Giants take on the Oakland Athletics on a cloudy early evening. That'll help the hitters as we take a look at the game time temperature. 58 degrees. There's the humidity. It's a light breeze out of the west. Forecast for low clouds in the early evening. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to the World Series, this great regional battle, the Battle of the Bay. And when you take a look at the West Coast history of these franchises, it's a V-graph. The Giants came amidst great euphoria in 1958. The teams of Mays and McCovey and Marichal, the pennant in 62, but then the bottom fell out in the mid-70s, and the Giants came this close to moving to Toronto. But they were saved by Bob Lurie and his ultimate reward, a pennant in 1989. The A's, meanwhile, came from Kansas City in 1968. They had the great teams in the early 70s, 5 first-place finishes, 3 consecutive world titles. But the bottom fell out in Oakland in the late 70s because of free agency. Charlie Finley had to sell. The A's came this close to moving. The Haas family saved them. And so you might say the light at the end of the proverbial tunnel for each franchise is the improbability of meeting in the 1989 World Series as we get set for Game 1. 1. That's the backdrop. Let's talk about the present. Let's talk about pitching. Who better to describe that aspect of the game than Jim Palmer? And certainly the consensus feeling, Jim, is that the A's have a better staff and a deeper staff. What do you think?
Well, I think on paper they do. Tony La Russa, the manager of the A's, 4 starters. Stewart will see tonight 21 wins, then 19 by Davis and by Moore, and 17 by Bob Welch. He's got a deep middle relief. Honeycutt. He can go to Nelson. He can go to Burns. He can go to Young. And then you get to the best right-handed closer, in my estimation, in baseball. Roger Craig of the Giants, on the other hand, well, he's got Garrelts, who was 14-5, led the National League in ERA this year. But Russell's been hurt. He'll pitch the second game with a groin pull. And Don Robinson, who's been out with a strained ligament, he threw very well in a simulated game. He will be the third pitcher if he's healthy. The rest of it kind of scattered. Bedrosian, Lefferts, the left and right-hander in the bullpen, and Roger Craig, I will tell you, this is the best condition his staff has been in, so he's ready.
Certainly, every pitcher on each team is thinking about one particular guy on the other side. Let me turn now to Tim McCarver, and let's talk about the marquee guys coming out of the playoffs. Will Clark of the Giants, Ricky Henderson of the A's.
And you can bet both pitching staffs are thinking about those two guys. Phenomenal offensive players, both the most valuable players in the LCSs, but with completely different styles. Ricky Henderson can really run. As a matter of fact, he doesn't have to hit to get on. 7 walks in the LCS, 8 stolen bases. So when he gets on first, for the most part, his job's just beginning. Will Clark, on the other hand, when he gets on first, his job's done because he has to hit. And can he ever hit? 13 for 20 in the LCS, and I think the A's have to stop Clark from hitting, and the Giants have to stop Ricky Henderson from running.
Well, as many of you know, it's the first time since 1956, 33 years, we've had what you might call a Subway World Series. It was a true Subway Series in New York in '56. The Brooklyn Dodgers, the New York Yankees, the highlight, of course, Don Larson throwing a strike past Dale Mitchell there, the only perfect game in World Series history. The Yankees win the title. A subway ride between Brooklyn and the Bronx was 15 cents. In 1989, you can also ride the subway between San Francisco and Oakland. It's called BART, Bay Area Rapid Transit, $2.05 under the bay. The battle by the bay coming up. Game 1. We'll be back in a moment.
The spirit of competition from MCI. Proof that commitment to excellence brings out the best.
I like my bottom line. I hate wasting time. I like my MCI. I get more. I like my MCI. Union, yes.
Today's union movement is all about giving people a voice in what goes on at work and in supporting one another. I believe in that. I said union, yes.
America works best when we say union, yes.
You think you're better than me, don't you?
Oh, not again. I was better than you in high school. I was better than you in college. And I am better than you now.
There are still some people in this world who can change tax brackets without changing personalities.
You want to put that to a test?
Let's go.
Now?
Now.
For those people, there's a car called the Legend Coupe from Acura. #1 in customer satisfaction 3 years in a row.
It's always
my spine felt like a lightning rod.
Are you feeling okay?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yours are pretty weird.
Life goes on.
Rebecca!
Following the World Series tomorrow.
Monday.
Are you ready for the football?
The undefeated Los Angeles Rams tackle the Buffalo Bills on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Then on Bangkok's black market, everything has a price.
You come looking for more trouble? Not really.
You're gonna die, pal.
McGwire.
The
1989 World Series. Brought to you by Acura Legend and Integra. Precision-crafted performance exclusively at your Acura dealer. By Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. And by Head & Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
You know, when you think about Will Clark and Ricky Henderson in the playoffs, not that surprising. Clark had a terrific regular season, finished second to Tony Gwynn in the batting race. Henderson, you'll recall, started the year with the Yankees, traded to Oakland on the 20th of June. He is the once and present A, of course. He started his career here and then came back. And when you take a look at Ricky right there and you look at the numbers that these two fellows put up in the league championship series, Clark hitting .650. Henderson not only 6 for 15, but keep in mind those 7 walks, which led to 8 steals, which led to 8 runs. And of course, he made life absolutely miserable over a 5-game stretch for the Toronto Blue Jays, as this was an all too familiar sight. Ricky Henderson stealing third here, and of course a crawl for Ernie Witt, the catcher, and when he wasn't walking and stealing or singling and stealing, he was homering, which he did twice in Game 4 in Toronto to lead the A's to a victory. Will Clark in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series hit a grand slam home run. He went 4 for 4 that night, and then, of course, last Monday, game tied in the 8th inning. Mitch Williams on the mound, base hit up the middle to drive in 2 to give the Giants the lead, and eventually the pennant. The final score was 3-2. Well, joining us for our pregame shows will be Gary Thorne and Joe Morgan for the World Series. And earlier they talked with Will Clark and Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson, in the league championship series, I'm not sure we've seen a ball player play as confidently as you did. Did you feel as confident as you looked?
I feel confident, just being in the playoff. It took me a long time by getting in the playoff, and I was so wound up and doing so well for the team and helping the team get to the World Series based on, because it was something that I dreamed of, getting to the World Series. So I was trying not to let anything get in my way.
Ricky, to all those critics over the years who have said there's an on-off switch on Ricky Henderson, and some days he comes to play and some days he doesn't, how do you respond to that?
I really can't respond to it, because I don't recall the days that I come and I goes, I can shut it off, and then days I can come out there and say, I'm going to go 4 for 4 and hit 2 home runs. I don't think any ball players have that control on what he can do out on the field. Just based on, I think, the things that, I do probably run so well, and some days maybe I'm not running as fast as I was the other day. People say is that you turn it on and off. I just think it's just based on you maybe went out and stole 4 bases that day. You're just a little tired and you try to save yourself for the whole game.
Ricky, thank you. Have a great series. Ricky Henderson of the A's, now Joe Morgan with Will Clark.
Will, during the LCS, you swung the bat as well as anyone I've ever seen. But now you've had 4 days off. Do you think that'll affect your groove?
Well, I'm hoping that it doesn't affect not only my groove, but also the rest of my teammates. I think some guys were starting to swing the bat real well, and 4 days off could hurt.
The last image I have of you is running out that triple and hobbling around the bases. How's the knee?
The 4 days off did help the knee. As far as the swing goes, we got to see.
You guys are the underdog here. What do the Giants have to do to defeat the A's?
Well, we got to go out there and execute like we've been doing all season long, but we got to keep their 1-2 hitters off for the big boppers. So if the big boppers get a hit, they're not going to hurt us.
Good luck.
Thank you.
We're in Oakland for Game 1 of the 1989 World Series, and we'll return after this message and an ABC News brief.
You know what? My dad bought a new car. So did mine. My dad got a V8. My dad got a V12. My dad got a sunroof. My dad got a convertible. My dad got a CD player. My dad got a car phone. My dad got Michelin. Michelin? Well, my mom's prettier than your mom.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Listen to my nephew. He's going to be a lawyer like me. He's even going to look like me.
Oh, really? So does that mean on his first big trial day, the jury's going to notice his winning smile?
Yeah.
And his great suit?
Yeah.
Oh, his little flakes.
No, dandruff? Me?
Oh, it can happen to perfect people. Here, just use my shampoo.
Head and Shoulders? Mm-hmm. But you don't have dandruff.
I rest my case.
Head and Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Introducing the 1990 Acura Integra. An automobile that can make getting there considerably more than half the fun.
An ABC News Brief. Now from Washington, Sam Donaldson.
Good evening. Top corporate executives meeting in Hot Springs, Virginia are advising investors not to panic after yesterday's stock market plunge. They call it a market correction. Fire broke out aboard a Delta Airlines jet just after it arrived in Salt Lake City. 6 people were hospitalized for smoke inhalation. And Tropical Storm Jerry is still heading for the Louisiana coast, but probably won't strengthen to hurricane force. More news later on the Weekend Report.
And back in Oakland, right now, let's join the public address announcer, Roy Steele.
Okay, Coach. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Game 1 of the 1989 World Series. The Battle of the Bay. At this time, we'd like to introduce the starting lineup for the 1989 National League champion San Francisco Giants. The manager, number 38, Roger Craig. Leading off, number 2, Brett Butler, center field. Batting second and playing second base, number 6, Robbie Thompson. Hitting third, first baseman, number 22, Will Clark. In the fourth position, left fielder number 7, Kevin Mitchell. Hitting fifth and playing third base, number 9, Matt Williams. Hitting sixth, designated hitter number 1, Ernest Ryle. Batting seventh and playing right field, number 21, Candy Maldonado. Batting eighth and doing the catching, number 16, Terry Kennedy. Hitting ninth, shortstop, number 23, Jose Uribe. In the bullpen, tonight's starting pitcher for San Francisco, number 50, Scott Garrels. And the remaining players, coaches, trainers, and equipment managers for the San Francisco Giants. And now, your 1989 American League champion, Oakland Athletics. The manager, number 10, Tony La Russa. Leading off, number 24, Ricky Henderson, left field. Batting second and playing third base, number 4, Carney Lansford. Hitting third, number 33, Jose Canseco, right field. Batting fourth, the designated hitter, number 39, Dave Parker. Hitting fifth, the center fielder, number 42, Dave Henderson. Batting sixth and playing first base, number 25, Mark McGwire. Hitting seventh and doing the catching, number 36, Terry Steinbach. Batting in the eighth position, number 2, Tony Phillips, second base. Hitting ninth, number 7, Walt Weiss, shortstop. In the bullpen, tonight's starting pitcher for Oakland, number 34, Dave Stewart. And the remaining players, coaches, trainers, and equipment managers for the American League champion Oakland Athletics. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the center field area as the Naval Air Station color guard from Moffett Field present the colors for tonight's game. Ladies and gentlemen, on September 1st, baseball lost a man who was not only its commissioner, but its best friend. At this time, we ask each of you to observe a moment of silence in which to remember baseball's 7th commissioner, A. Bartlett Giamatti. And now to honor America, please rise and join in the singing of our national anthem as performed by the world-renowned Whiffenpoofs from Bart Giamatti's alma mater, Yale University.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glares, the bombs bursting in
return to Oakland after this message courtesy of Major League Baseball and a word from our ABC stations.
Enjoy baseball memories throughout the years by ordering your copy of the 1989 World Series souvenir program. Packed with more than 90 pages of features, historical facts, and photos from the Fall Classic, this program is truly a collector's item. To get yours, send check or money order for $6 to World Series Program, Box 89, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. That's Box 89, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. Please be sure to include your proper return address. The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Starting 2 weeks from tonight, 4 great stars in a series of all-new 2-hour mysteries.
Wait till I tell Mrs. Columbo.
For Peter Falk, it's murder when he returns as Columbo.
Sounds good to me.
And Burt Reynolds is still undercover as Private Eye B.L. Stryker.
I'd like to see a little justice here.
New this season, Jacqueline Smith solving the crimes of the rich and famous as Christine Cromwell.
Oh, the bases covered so far.
And Telly Savalas is back as Kojak. The premiere of the ABC Saturday Mystery in 2 weeks.
Mr. Ian McKenzie. I'm Angus McKenzie. Ian's moved down the road.
Today, with service to 175 countries,
Oh, you've been wanting Ian Alistair, Mackenzie.
UPS delivers to nearly 4 billion people,
Also for McKenzie. Hi.
including the extraordinary concentration of Mackenzies along the northeast coast of Scotland.
Mr. Ian Alistair McKenzie. No trouble finding me, did you, lad? No trouble at all.
UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
The Honda Accord is a nice car. But the new Hyundai Sonata has a more powerful standard engine. The Sonata also has more interior room. Yet it costs thousands less. Last year, the Accord was the best-selling mid-sized import. This year, who knows? The new mid-sized Sonata from Hyundai. We're making more sense than ever.
It'd be so nice to get a piece of pizza, a hot and juicy slice. I gotta have a pizza blues.
Looking for a slice at a great price? Get new piece of pizza at AM/PM Mini Markets. Pepperoni or Supreme Combo, just 89 cents.
Come on, baby, to the right address. Fill up at AM/PM, and you'll fill up for less.
Series analysis with Steve Garvey and Todd Donahoe after the game.
An aerial view from above San Francisco, zooming past the Bay Bridge, spanning San Francisco and Oakland and on past Alameda. And in the distance there, the city of Oakland, California, about 350,000 population, beautiful Lake Merritt, this area of nearly 6 million people. And as we pan left, downtown Oakland. This the site for the first and second games of the 1989 World Series, and now an aerial view from above the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum, the 5th time the World Series has been played here. Welcome to Game 1, the San Francisco Giants against the Oakland Athletics. I'm Al Michaels, and as far as this matchup is concerned, taking a look at what people expected before the season, I think the A's were the consensus pick in the American League, and why not? They won the pennant in 1988, figured to be as strong. They added Ricky Henderson, but the A's will tell you to a man this one was sweeter. Why? Because Jose Canseco missed half the season because of a wrist fracture. Walt Weiss, last year's Rookie of the Year, missed about half the season with a knee injury, and Dennis Eckersley, the premier relief pitcher, missed about a quarter of the season with an arm injury. And then, of course, they were able to stave off Kansas City and California and beat Toronto in the playoffs. The Giants, meanwhile, figured to finish 4th, according to the experts in the National League West. And if you'd have told Roger Craig before the season he'd have to use 15 different starting pitchers, he'd have probably said, great prediction. I think the Giants winning the pennant might be something only appreciated in retrospect, the way Craig was able to do it. That team never lost more than 3 games in a row this season. Tim McCarver, let's take a look now at the matchup in terms of the A's, who know they have some unfinished business because they lost to the Dodgers last year. The Giants, a lot of people feel, may be just happy to be here, their first pennant in 27 years. What do you think?
Well, I think the Oakland A's are heavy favorites for several reasons. They've made 5 changes on their roster, namely Ricky Henderson and Mike Moore. more. But the biggest reason Oakland's favored in this World Series is they're not facing a dominating pitcher like they were last year. Oral Hershiser, who won 2 of the 4 games that the Dodgers won, and the one he didn't win, then you had the miracle storybook home run by Kirk Gibson. So, I mean, the Giants, when you think about it, only named their 3rd starter tonight, and that's next Tuesday, and it'll be Don Robinson.
On the subject of pitching, let's turn to Jim Palmer, formerly of the Baltimore Orioles, no stranger to the Cy Young Award. Of course, Dave Stewart's a stranger to the Cy Young Award. He keeps finishing second. What about tonight's matchup? Dave Stewart against Scott Garrelts.
Well, Tim talked about the fact that they dominating pitcher Hershiser last year. The Giants hope it'll be Scott Garrelts, number 1 in the National League in earned run average. They only hit .212 off him, so he can be tough. He's right-handed, a lot of right-handed hitters in the Oakland lineup, so it should be a good matchup. On the other hand, Dave Stewart, baseball's most consistent pitcher over the last 3 years, and he says he's unappreciated. Well, he makes well over $1 million a year, and I don't think Oakland would rather have anybody else on the mound, so it should be a good matchup.
The Battle of the Bay. Glad you're with us. Settle back, game 1 of the World Series coming up. The San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Meet the 1990 Geo.
Getting to like you, getting to hope you like me.
In the 70s, you got to know a small car company called Toyota. In the 80s, Honda. Today, the 90s begin, and we invite you to get to know Geo.
Getting to know you.
At your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Well, fans, it all comes down to this moment. This is where it all gets decided. Johnson steps in, checks the signs, makes a few adjustments. This is a classic confrontation. He's digging in. Here's the delivery. And there it goes. He's going back, way back. It is going. It is gone.
Pepsi, a generation ahead.
The ball game's over.
George 117 in pursuit of additional backup. Do you copy? 117. Let's get a roadblock.
Chopper 1, do you receive?
Chopper 1, coming east. I'll light it up.
Every one of these police cars comes on Goodyear Eagles, and only on Goodyear Eagles. Why? Because they want it that way. Goodyear Eagles. There really is a difference.
Join the U.S. Armed Forces. You're in with top quality people and top quality experiences.
Opportunity is waiting for you. In the U.S. Armed Forces. You're in.
It goes with the boys that play in the dirt. It goes with the joy. It goes with the hurt. It goes with the men you can't fix in. It's there when you lose, and there when you win. It's a piece of America. Share a little piece of America. Wrigley, it's a piece of America. Share a little piece of America.
Defending Big Ten champ Michigan tackles perennial power Iowa. Or UCLA hits the Oregon Trail to take on Oregon State. Next Saturday on ABC's College Football.
The 1989 World Series. The San Francisco Giants versus the Oakland Athletics. Brought to you by Geo. Get to know Geo. Sold and serviced by Chevrolet Geo dealers. By Anheuser-Busch, we brew our fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remember, know when to say when. By the good time, great taste of McDonald's. And by Apple Computer. The power to be your best.
Ready for game 1 just moments ago. Appropriately, the ceremonial first pitch of the 1989 World Series, delivered from the mound by Bart Giamatti's son, Marcus. And now we will get officially underway. The wife of the late commissioner on the left, and the Oakland A's have just taken the field for game one. Dave Stewart will be going to the mound. A feature of our World Series coverage again this year will be what we call the inside pitch. So we have gone to Steve Sachs of the New York Yankees, who was a teammate of Dave's with the Dodgers years ago, to give us the inside pitch on Dave Stewart.
Dave Stewart has three basic good pitches that he uses: a fastball, a curveball, and a forkball. Forkball he throws mostly to the left-handed hitters. He's got a tough, herky-jerky motion, so it's hard to pick the ball up coming out of his hand. But, however, Dave does have a problem when he pitches in patterns, and he'll throw the left-handers outside, the right-handers inside. He has a tendency to get into problems wild early in the ball game. If he does this, the Giants have to capitalize on it, because Dave Stewart is one of the toughest battlers in the league. He's a clubhouse leader, which is really unusual for a pitcher, and he gets very strong as the game progresses.
Dave Stewart, released in 1986, could have signed with anybody. Winds up with the A's. They court Dave Stewart. And we take a look again at the San Francisco lineup that he'll face tonight. Brett Butler, Robbie Thompson, and Will Clark. Kevin Mitchell in the cleanup spot. Matt Williams, Ernest Riles, the DH. The pitchers bat in the National League city, meaning the pitchers bat in San Francisco in 3, 4, and 5. And Maldonado, Kennedy, and Uribe hitting in the number 9 spot. The A's very good defensively, with Brett Butler checking out Stewart. And the A's defensively, good outfield with Ricky Henderson in left, Dave Henderson in center, and Canseco in right. Carney Lansford back after the hamstring pull in the playoffs at third. Walt Weiss at short. Tony Phillips at second. Mark McGwire at first. Terry Steinbach is the catcher, Stewart the pitcher, and Brett Butler to start the 1989 World Series. In a way, he is probably the most appropriate player to begin a Bay Area World Series. He spent 12 years living in the East Bay town of Fremont. As a kid, he went to Candlestick Park about half a dozen times a season, and here about 6 to 10 times a season, and grew up as a fan of both teams, much in the tradition of the way the whole Bay Area feels as we get started. This is not a confrontation. This is a love fest. And the World Series is underway. Butler, Thompson, and Clark in the top of the first. Butler, and everybody knows it, loves to bunt. 23 bunt singles. The pitcher's a strike. So he is used to seeing the third baseman in on the grass, as is the case here with Carney Lansford.
And you'll see that even with 2 strikes, because he's a very good bunter.
Swung late at a fastball, and the count is 1-2.
In the opening, you talked about the twilight. Stewart with a fastball over 90 miles per hour, a curveball, and a great forkball. Uses that when he gets ahead in the strikes situation with 2 strikes on, say, Butler.
And the 1-2 pitch is just off the plate, and there it was in the count, 2-2. Remains 2-2 on Butler, who plays in the World Series for the first time. Brett came up with Atlanta, then over to Cleveland, and then he became a free agent. And the Giants through the years have had a lot of trouble signing free agents because a lot of players just don't want to play in Candlestick Park. But Butler, loving the area, seeing the opportunity, signs on and lets a fly ball to center field. Dave Henderson is there. One gone. So one center fielder flies out to the other to begin the first inning, and Robbie Thompson comes to the plate. It was a week ago tonight that Robbie Thompson hit a home run that turned out to be the game-winning hit in Game 3 against Chicago.
One of 3 game-winning hits. The next night, Matt Williams with a 2-run homer to beat the Cubs 6-4, and then Will Clark single up the middle off Mitch Williams, and the Giants won it.
He is, of course, anything but your prototype number 2 hitter, because he has struck out 133 times during the regular season.
Usually the number 2 hole hitter is a hitter that makes a lot of contact to move the leadoff hitter along. Thompson with a lot of power, 11 triples, 13 home runs during the regular season. High ball hitter.
The 1-1 to Thompson. Breaking pitch over for a strike. 1-2.
And that's the forkball we're talking about. You can take the tumbling action on the ball, and what sets this up is you look at the forkball. Of course, they'll call it a forkball here in Oakland. Over in San Francisco, it's the split finger fastball.
2-2. One out, top of the first. Will Clark on deck. And Thompson is a little dribbler to the left of the mound, and Dave Stewart throws past McGwire with a lot of room in foul territory. Phillips over to play it, and Thompson in at second. So the Giants get a break on a little dribbler that Stewart throws away.
I'll tell you, it looked like Stewart was winding up to throw the ball. He appeared to be pitching the ball to Mark McGwire. You see how he winds up, and now he throws it wild to the inside of McGwire. An error on Dave Stewart.
It's an error all the way, and so Stewart throwing one by McGwire with Thompson now at second base, and that means with a man in scoring position, Stewart has to face Will Clark. And Clark goes after the first pitch, hits it to the gap in left center, but Dave Henderson moves over to make the catch. Thompson is late in tagging and has to hold at second. So Will Clark's first at-bat is a sharply hit drive to left center field, but he's gone for the second out.
And it appears, Al, what they're going to do is pitch Clark away. Of course, it's very early, the first at-bat, and play him that way. Because Henderson made a nice running catch because he was a couple of steps to left field.
Now Kevin Mitchell comes to the plate. Mitchell leading the majors in homers and in RBIs and hitting .291. And most feel he'll be the National League's most valuable player. And if you're wondering, those votes already in. Playoffs don't count. Series doesn't count. Those votes go in after the regular season. First base open here with Thompson at second, 2 down, and Matt Williams on deck. In there. Off speed, 1-1. Thompson off to his lead at second. Earlier in the year, it would be an automatic walk here for Mitchell, but now he is backed up by Matt Williams, and that makes a difference. The pitch is a strike, and the count is 1-2. The Giants spent the entire season until Williams came back from Phoenix looking for a number 5 hitter, somebody to protect Kevin Mitchell. The Giants are gone in the first.
How are things at work, dear? Okay. They want me to use a computer.
A computer? You?
I mean, what do I need a computer for? I'm not an accountant.
I figure watch. I've been in this business 11 years, right? Why do I need one now? I've done fine without one.
I'm walking to the office and they have this computer there. Can you imagine me working on a computer?
They figure if you can use one, then anybody can use one.
Macintosh has the power to change your mind about computers. The power to be your best.
So I was wrong.
Scott Garreld's on the mound for the San Francisco Giants, and our inside pitch will be delivered throughout the course of the series by this year's National League batting champion, Tony Gwynn of the San Diego Padres.
Scott Garrelts is a 4-pitch pitcher. Fastball, slider, forkball, and curveball. But the curveball is a pitch that he's prone to make a mistake with. He has to keep the pitch down in the strike zone. His forkball is his best pitch. And even if he makes a mistake with this pitch, it's going to be tough for the hitters to hit. He's good at holding runners on, but he doesn't get rattled, and he's extremely tough on right-handed batters.
And Scott Garrelts, who began spring training in the Giants bullpen, faces this lineup. Ricky Henderson leading off in left field, and Lansford and Canseco. Dave Parker is the designated hitter. Dave Henderson in center. Mark McGwire batting 6th, with Terry Steinbach hitting 7th. Tony Phillips hitting 8th. And Walt Weiss gets the start at shortstop over Mike Gallego, because Tony La Russa wants to get an extra left-handed bat in the lineup. Ricky Henderson, most valuable player in the American League Championship Series. Obviously, you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to know that you don't want to walk Ricky Henderson. And Roger Craig was saying yesterday, hey, I don't have to beat Scott Garrelts over the head with it. The more you talk about it, the more he's liable to think about it. He knows what he has to do.
Well, the problem for Scott Garrelts is that Ricky Henderson goes up to home plate trying to get to first base. He'll walk, he'll work the pitcher, the umpire, and he will make you throw strikes. So it's not as easy, and then if you get behind him, he becomes a home run threat. Very difficult. As a lot of people have said, maybe the best leadoff hitter in the history of the game.
40 times he has led off a game with a home run, and a breaking pitch for a strike, 0-1. For Ricky, his first appearance in a World Series. Came close in 81 with Oakland, but they lost to the Yankees in the LCS. Another strike. Then he went to New York and came back here on the 20th of June in the deal that sent Luis Polonia and Eric Plunk and Greg Cadaret to the Yankees.
I think a key during this World Series is to see how many times the Giant pitchers can get in this situation, ahead in the count.
1-2.
Because if you're ever going to get Henderson to expand the strike zone, it is when he has 2 strikes on him. Otherwise, tell you what, he knows what he has to do. He knows he can unnerve you if you walk him, because you've done exactly what you don't want to do.
Grounded through the middle, but Thompson is there to glove it behind second and throw him out. So Robbie Thompson, shading Henderson toward the middle, gets there to take care of Ricky. 1 away. Funny thing, though, about the A's, it's not just keeping Henderson off base. That's a pretty good rest of the lineup as well.
Well, again, I think one of the reasons Stewart threw the ball away is right here. You see Robbie Thompson's quickness. Quick to get in front of that ball. An outstanding second baseman. He made Stewart hurry the throw in the first. He doesn't run that fast, but he's awfully quick.
Carney Lansford, the batter. He grounds one toward the middle, and Uribe can't flag it. So Lansford, who missed 2 games against Toronto because of the hamstring, really needed the time off. It has worked to his benefit, and the first hit of the series belongs to Carney.
Carney finishing second to Kirby Puckett in the American League batting race, and Kirby Puckett leading the American League for only the second time as a right-handed hitter in the last 20 years. 1981, Carney Lansford led the American League. Those are the only 2 right-handed hitters that have led the American League since 1970.
Lansford at first base. Now, Lansford has good speed. He had 37 steals during the regular season, but remember, he's coming back from the hamstring pull. In there for a strike to Canseco, and the count is 1-1.
Tony La Russa, speaking to us before the game, said that ideally he'd like to have a big lead and take Lansford out in the 7th inning to rest the left hamstring.
So many people talking about one of the keys being, of course, Ricky Henderson, but another key for the A's has to be Canseco. In last year's World Series, in his second at-bat, he hits a grand slam homer. It turns out that's the only hit he gets in the entire 5 games. And there it was. He was 1 for 19, and McGwire was 1 for 17.
And the way they pitched him is they crowded him, the right-handers, Hershiser with the fastball. Now, one thing I saw over the season when Jose missed 88 games, when he came back, he could get out in front on left-handers because the ball runs back over the plate, but the right-handers just bore the ball in on him, gave him a lot of problems.
The 1-2 pitch got him. Breaking pitch, and down he goes. So Canseco becomes the first strikeout victim of the World Series. 2 down, and Dave Parker coming up.
And there's that expanding the strike zone like you talk about, Jim.
And what sets that up, Tim, I believe, is the fastball 2 pitches before, way inside, and you go away with a breaking ball.
Dave Parker, as loose as they get. 3 hits against Toronto in the playoffs, including 2 homers. So he made the maximum out of the minimum. The designated hitter stands in. And he'll be a very key man for the Giants to get all series long, because the Giants have an all right-handed rotation. And he gets a comebacker knocked down by Gereltz, and Scotty throws him out. So each team gone in the first, no score in game 1.
In the world of sporty imports, there was Toyota, then Honda. But today, there's something new, Geo Storm. It's going to hit with an aggressive stance, an eager multi-port fuel-injected engine, and 4-wheel independent suspension. Get to know the new Geo Storm. It's rolling in now, and it's just around the corner at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
You're looking at the reason McDonald's coffee tastes so fresh. It never gets a chance to sit around. McDonald's coffee tastes fresh because our coffee's always pouring.
Doctor, flying in a multiple trauma from Woodlake.
What are the injuries?
I need an EKG, current and basic.
It's been done at Woodlake.
I don't need them there. I need them here.
In the time it takes to transfer a patient, this doctor is able to prepare a treatment. Because now the network of U.S. Sprint can fax the sharpest graphics in the world in only 6 seconds.
Let's do it!
100% digital fiber optic fax. Only from U.S. Sprint.
It's 11:35, and Roseanne Horn is learning all about her antifreeze. The hard way. Don't push your luck. Guarantee it with Advanced Formula Prestone.
Come on, answer.
Well, are we all prepared for the baseball match today?
Mr. Belvedere.
Okay, troops, let's hit it.
In the front row, Saturdays.
Scott Gereltz, assuming the position of a catcher, blocks the ball and keeps it in front of him. The only problem was he doesn't have catcher's equipment on, and you could see Terry Kennedy saying, keep your chin up, Scotty.
So we go to the second inning in game 1 at Oakland. No score. Matt Williams to lead off, and then Ernest Riles and Candy Maldonado facing Dave Stewart. Williams started the season with the Giants, got off to an awful start, went to Phoenix, played very well for the Giants AAA affiliate, and then he was called up for the second half of the season, and he has really filled the bill in the number 5 spot. And he's a great third baseman, and some people think he's an even better shortstop.
Shortstop in college at the University of Las Vegas in Nevada. Strong throwing arm, good hands, soft hands for a big man. He's only 23 years old.
Well, if you watched him in the playoffs, he missed only 1 ball. Swings and misses here in the count 1-2. Roger Craig. Last time there was a Subway World Series in 1956, Craig was a Dodger. And as we mentioned at the top, a 15-cent Subway ride between the boroughs. 2-2. Williams with probably the pivotal hit in the playoffs, that home run on the sensational at-bat in Game 4, the 12th pitch, hit out to give the Giants a victory. Pop foul and back out of play. Still 2-2 on Williams.
Sequence of 12 pitches, and if you went to anybody in the National League that's ever seen Matt Williams hit, you'd say throw him a lot of breaking balls if you can. First base open. Steve Wilson, who had a good year for the Cubs, a left-hander on the mound, he threw him 11 fastballs, and the 12th pitch would happen to be a fastball. He jerked it down the line for a game-winning home run.
The 2-2 pitch is fouled away. Williams trying to work on two things. He has the power, that's obvious. He's got to lift the average because he hit only .202 during the regular season. And like most power hitters, try to cut down on the strikeouts. He fanned 72 times in just half a season. Gone here in the second inning, and Ernest Riles is the batter.
Well, one of the philosophies of Dave Stewart is you got to establish the fastball, even to a fastball hitter if it's your best pitch. And what happens is the fork balls ahead of the count early on set up the fastball right by Williams. Boy, now you got him thinking the rest of the game.
Ernest Riles getting a chance to play because in the World Series now, the designated hitter used in the American League parks and the pitchers sit in the National League parks. And so Riles hits it foul. Ernest came over in a deal last year that sent Jeffrey Leonard to the Milwaukee Brewers. He can play third. He's a very versatile player and delivered a very key pinch hit down the stretch for the Giants, a grand slam home run one night in August in Philadelphia. That's grounded down to Phillips, and an easy play for Tony. 2 gone. 2 out, bases empty in the second with no score. And Candy Maldonado is the batter. If the Giants have one problem in establishing the lineup this season, it's right field. They've used Pat Sheridan out there and Donnell Nixon and Candy Maldonado. And I think Maldonado's getting the start in the World Series because of 2 plate appearances in the playoffs, both resulting in walks. And one of them was a giant walk, no pun intended, because it was the first of 3 given up by the Cubs in that fateful 8th inning in Game 5, and then Will Clark delivered the single to center.
Maldonado, Butler, and Thompson walking in front of Clark's hit.
0-1
with 2 outs.
And Maldonado walking after fouling off several pitches.
That's the famous stare, the Dave Stewart, I guess you could call it stare, glare, whatever you want to call it. He glared after he made the error. And there's another glare.
Off the bay, beautiful shot. Sunset in the Bay Area. San Francisco Bay in the background. And Maldonado has swung late twice at Stewart's fastballs, and the count is 1-2.
Dave Stewart, when he's had problems, they say they usually come early in the ball game, so you have to get him early. And he has a way of pitching to his competition. They get him a lot of runs. Sometimes he'll relax, give up some early runs, but I don't think he's going to relax against Gereltz.
2-2. Scott Gereltz viewing it from the Giants dugout. Back of first with 2 out, bases empty in the second inning. And Candy fouls it off. The bottom of the Giants order is a key for the A's in the sense that they don't figure to do much damage, and the A's have to keep it that way. Maldonado 217, Kennedy next 239, and then Uribe in the 9 spot 221. So the Giants normally do the damage at the top. 2-2. Dave Stewart has we mentioned, released in '86 by Philadelphia. He said that wasn't the low point. He said the low point was 5 days later when nobody called. He said that was the lowest of the low. And then finally a call from Oakland. And here he is starting the World Series. 2-2. Tony La Russa, the A's manager for several seasons with the White Sox, let go there, immediately picked up by Oakland in 1986 and referred to by a lot of people now as the manager of the 90s.
The first thing he did in his first night, July 7th, we were doing the game in Boston. He let Dave Stewart start. He beat Roger Clemens.
That was 1986. Yep. And Dave Stewart has not missed an assignment since then. 3 straight years with 20 wins or more.
And down goes Maldonado. Stewart strikes out 2 in the second. No score in the middle of the second.
Something new is happening at Chevrolet. This year will introduce more new ideas, innovative new engines, and bold new shapes than ever before. In 1990, you'll see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. All you have to do is listen.
The heartbeat of America. That's the day it's Chevrolet.
This is the shop of Samsat Bazaar, a thriving establishment on the outskirts of Bangkok. Unlike other international executives, he has no phone system, no computers, not even a fax machine. He does, however, enjoy one modern and efficient service nearly 4 billion people in 175 countries today can take for granted. UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
If you thought you had to give up comfort to get a close shave, Norelco says, think again. Their revolutionary shaving system shaves skin close in a way that's incredibly comfortable. As the hair enters the chamber, the patented lift and cut system lifts each hair and holds it a split second before a blade cuts it, so it's possible to shave skin close without the blades even touching the skin. The lift and cut shaving system from Norelco. We made close comfortable.
I'm ready for one thing when I drive. Everything. Bad weather, bad drivers. I guess that's why we've got Michelins. Michelins are for all the things that can't possibly happen, but always do. Am I overprotective? I've got reason to be. The way I see it, you never need a Michelin until you really need a Michelin.
Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
If you have a heart attack, you may be a lot better off if you're in Europe than in America. An alarming new study. Watch Peter Jennings on ABC's World News tonight, Monday.
What a difference a decade makes. In 1979, the A's barely drew 300,000 to the Coliseum. This year, 2.6 million. And next year, talking about 3 million. Dave Henderson, who always seems to wind up in the right spot to lead off, and then McGwire and Steinbach facing Scott Garrelts in the bottom of the second. Henderson, who was with Seattle in '86, winds up getting traded to Boston and helps them win the pennant. In '87, he winds up with the Giants, and even though he was ineligible for postseason play, he helps them to the division crown. He goes to Oakland, plays in the World Series last year, and here he is again. 1-1 the count. Wendell Kim, the Giants' first base coach. And there is Al Talboy. Talboy sitting in the stands. He's the eye in the sky, positioning the Giants defensively. College coach on the peninsula, the San Francisco Peninsula. There is where he's sitting. We talk about modern-day communications. He calls down to Kim, and Kim aligns the outfielders.
Well, the reason he's sitting up that high, the worst place in the ballpark to view the defense is in the dugout. You're at field level, and you really can't, you have no depth perception.
As Henderson draws the walk, so Dave gets aboard to start the second inning. Another reason, though, he's sitting in the stands is that he's the opposition. He's the visitor, and the A's wouldn't give him a credential for the press box.
Right. So he's above it.
Yep. Dave Henderson at first base, and Mark McGwire is the batter. Mark, a low average, but plenty of power, as has been the case since he came up with a bang in 1987. 0-1.
A lot of people feel the reason, if you have a good fastball, you can throw it right by Mark McGwire. He has become a better breaking ball hitter. Correlts throws well over 90 miles per hour. You saw the first pitch. It was a fastball. So we'll see how San Francisco does pitch to McGwire.
It's a high fly ball to center field, and his tracks is Butler. Tagging at first is Dave Henderson, but he's not going anywhere. McGwire gone for the first out in the bottom of the second inning. And that'll bring up Terry Steinbach.
Number 36, Terry Steinbach.
Steinbach, Tony La Russa feels, will be the premier catcher in the American League shortly. You'll recall last year he made the All-Star team, and everybody said, who? What's the deal here? Part of it was ballot box stuffing by the Oakland fans. The other, the paucity of real quality catchers in the American League. And then, as you know, what happens is he winds up as the All-Star Game MVP with a home run in Cincinnati.
That's not your Spalding Guide way to get back to first base. Henderson on his... Even David Clark are laughing about it. Check this out.
Well, look at the lead. It's about, if he took a traditional 1.5-step lead, he would have been in foul territory. He wasn't even off the bag. A little bit better lead there. Oh.
Dave, with 8 stolen bases during the regular season, he was caught 5 times.
That's why he's not taking a big lead.
That's right.
Garrels comes to the plate, and it's lined in the center for a base hit. Henderson had to hold up to see if Thompson could catch the line drive, and so he stops at second. And the A's with 2 on and 1 out in the bottom of the second inning. Steinbach with Oakland's second hit, and Phillips is the batter.
The line of sight that Henderson has, you see, has to hold up because he can't tell how close that ball is to Robbie Thompson. And because he held up, that prevents him from going to third.
And also one of the cardinal rules of base running, never get doubled up on the ball in front of you. So heads up base running.
Tony Phillips, the versatile infielder, can play second or third. He's a switch hitter, and it really doesn't matter. He's got a little more power this way. But he had 263 left-handed and 259 right-handed.
Also had a great September. Didn't hit that well in the playoffs. Made some outstanding defensive plays, but 29 for 84. That's 365 down the stretch.
And he grounds it to the right side, and Clark was going back to first base. It goes through the hole for a base hit. Henderson scores 1-0 with Steinbach going to third.
Good hitting is being cooled on the pitch, a curveball, and then keeping your bat back and then committing with authority, and that's what Tony Phillips does. Rifles one in the hole, and not only does Henderson score, but Steinbach ends up at third base with 1 out.
And Walt Weiss is the batter. Infield is double play depth. La Russa not averse to squeezing in a situation like this.
Even though he only squeezed once during the playoffs and once during the regular season. Roger Craig, on the other hand, a guy who likes to squeeze more than Mr. Whipple.
Yep. And I say it only because of Weiss and the fact that Weiss has been bothered with a bad knee, so he's had an off year. And La Russa likes to be unpredictable.
Also a perfect situation to start the runner. Kennedy doesn't throw that well. Weiss somewhat of a contact hitter. Trying to stay out of the double play.
One and one to count. Rene Laxman, after looking into the dugout, sending out the signs. One out with runners at first and third. And Garrelts fires over to drive Phillips back. One and one to count. Loop foul off to the left, and the count 1-2 strikes on Weiss, who, like Phillips, is a switch hitter. He hit .235 as a left-handed batter this year, .228 the other way. Outfield playing Weiss the other way, all the way around to left. They give him all of right field. And he slices it foul in the count 1-2.
Sometimes the hitter can determine how a team's trying to pitch him by just looking at the outfielders. Now, there's no way Scott Garrelts is going to throw a breaking ball or a split finger fastball here. The off-speed pitch for a strike to Walt Weiss because of the positioning of the outfield. The hard stuff is more prone to be hit the other way. The soft stuff is more prone to be pulled.
1-2 pitch is hit slowly toward Clark. He's going to come home with it, and Kennedy drops it. 2-0. A, Clark appeared to have trouble getting the ball out of his glove, and then B, Kennedy can't hold on. And the A's have a 2-0 lead with 2 on and 1 out, and Ricky Henderson coming up.
The one thing you do when you're receiving a ball from the right side of the infield, if you're a catcher, is keep your weight on your left foot. Kennedy, with the weight on his right foot, allows Steinbeck to knock the foot away from the plate, thereby knocking the ball out of the glove. It should be an error on Terry Kennedy. That was a good throw by Clark. Terry had plenty of time. Good hard slide by Steinbach. But the reason that Steinbach was able to knock the ball out of Kennedy's glove was Terry had the weight on the right foot and not the left foot. If you have it on the left foot, you ward the base runner off the plate.
And Garrelts nearly throws one away, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. They have given the error to Kennedy, an error on the catcher, so the bottom of the order accounts for 2 runs, still only 1 out, and Henderson, the leadoff hitter, takes the strike, and the count is 1-1. Phillips at second, Weiss at first.
Here's even another situation where Henderson obviously would like to get a base hit, but if Scott Garrelts won't throw strikes, Ricky will go right down to first base, load up the bases, and let Carney Lansford, who hit .336 and already has a base hit. Very disciplined.
Good breaking pitch. 2-2.
Great breaking pitch.
Terrific.
2-1. Boy, right off the table.
Phillips to his lead at second. Weiss, the runner at first. Oakland leading 2-0, and the A's trying to break it open in the second inning. 2-2 to Henderson, just inside. Ball 3, and Garrelts thought he had him. And now 3-2 with 1 out.
You can judge for yourself. Boy, it looks like it has some of the plate. Scotty Garrelts certainly wanted, but again, Henderson jumping away from the pitch makes it a little bit more difficult for Rich Garcia, the home plate umpire.
See if La Russa starts the runners. He does not, and the pitch is hit into right field for a base hit. Phillips is being waved in. Here comes the throw from Maldonado. It's offline, 3-0. Weiss to third. aggressive. Latchman never hesitated, sending the runner all the way, and Maldonado's throw was up the line.
Maldonado's throw should have been to third base. Excellent base running by Walt Weiss, who looked at Maldonado, and when Maldonado came home, Weiss goes to third to clear second for Ricky Henderson. Good piece of hitting, a poor play by Maldonado. That ball's got to go to third base.
Kelly Downs gets up in the San Francisco bullpen. The batter is Lansford, and he takes low, ball one. Still only 1 out in the second inning. 3 hits, a walk, and an error, and the A's are ahead 3-0. Lansford hit into 21 double plays this year. And it's low, and the count 2-0.
Only struck out 25 times, Al, so a good contact hitter. They're playing back for the double play.
And time called by Roger Craig. So a meeting at the mound, and Kelly Downs, who pitched very effectively in long relief, is up in the Giant bullpen, effectively in the playoffs. So in the inning, it begins as so many of Oakland's big innings in the playoffs did, with a walk. This time to the other Henderson. Dave drew the walk, and after McGwire flies out, Steinbach with a single, Phillips with a base hit, then the error by Kennedy, the single by Ricky Henderson, and the count 2 balls and no strikes on Lansford, with Weiss at third and Ricky at first. In the shallow left field, Uribe goes out, Mitchell comes in, and Kevin makes the catch, and the runners have to hold. So a big out, the second out. The infield can move back, and Jose Canseco comes to the plate.
I think the reason Henderson didn't try to steal then, you've got Lansford, who had a base hit his first time up, a .336 hitter this year. And I don't know whether Ricky's going to run here either with Canseco batting.
Parker follows Canseco, who struck out in the first inning. Garrelt's firing the first. The risk, of course, you run here when you throw the ball away on a pickoff play is with all the foul territory. The runner normally winds up at third. Pitch out, nothing happening. They thought Henderson was going. 1-0.
Well, you know, a lot of times if Henderson runs, obviously you have first base open. You may not pitch to Canseco, but down by 3 runs, you're thinking that way anyway. Garrelts is going to want to make the pitch to Canseco because he can't afford to give up any more runs. So if I was Tony La Russa, I think I'd send Henderson.
Got Dave Parker on deck. If you walk Canseco, then obviously Parker, who led the A's in runs batted in this year with 97. They're strong throughout their lineup.
2-1. You saw that target. Canseco can hit it. You all recall the home run in Toronto that cleared Customs.
As Bob Uecker said in the movie Major League, it was headed to South America. You needed a visa to get it.
2-1 to Canseco, is squibbed foul off the end of the bat, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jose, the 8th man to come up in the second inning. Oakland with 3 in, and runners at first and third. Canseco, the broken wrist for half the season, then came back for the second half and hit 17 home runs and drove in 57.
.871 steals, 67 behind Lou Brock. Lou with 938 stolen bases, the all-time stolen base leader, and Henderson could very easily break that next year. He's liable to end up with 1,500 stolen bases.
He says he's got 5 more years of 50-plus stolen bases.
That 9 in a row.
And Will Clark has to come off the bag.
Well, Garrelts has got to be real careful, because if he balks, it's 4-0. And, you know, you have to make a step. And during the playoffs, as you look at the end of the throw, very close. Back too close.
I think
he's
he
out.
missed him. I think he missed him. If he hit him, he would have been out.
There goes Henderson, and it's popped up down the line. Clark giving Chase a lot of territory, and he can't cover it. So it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Another look at that attempted pickoff. And Paul Runge at first right there, and he doesn't even move, so apparently he did miss him, Tim. And I did about the health of Will Clark, where he was really limping going after that foul ball.
Soft throw to first, and of course Clark with that banged up knee, the result of a collision in September with Mike Scioscia of the Dodgers. It's the right knee, much in evidence in the playoffs, and there as well. And the count now 3-2. So Henderson will be going 3-2 and 2 out in the second inning. And Will Clark, knowing Ricky is going, can play off the bag and behind the runner at first base. 3-2 on Canseco. And Jose swings and misses, and down he goes. But the A's send 8 men to the plate, take a 3-0 lead, and back we come after a word from our ABC station.
Monday.
Are you ready for the football?
The undefeated Los Angeles Rams head east to tackle the Buffalo Bills on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Then, on Bangkok's black market, everything has a price.
You come looking for more trouble? No, not really. You're gonna die, pal.
McGwire.
I'm telling you, she sold my house just like that. Dorothy Thompson, Century 21.
They listened to me, so they knew what I wanted.
Century 21? Yeah, my broker sold my house, and I wasn't even in town.
The Century 21 system sells more homes than anybody else because we have more experience than anybody else. But don't take our word for it. Ask a friend.
Come with us.
She found us a house with the pool and everything. I'm gonna live here forever.
Century 21.
Heineken, Amstel Light.
This
so
is
much
it.
better than
It's
other
a
light
great
beers.
imported beer.
A delicious European
nothing compares
taste,
to the
a
smoothness,
refreshing,
the richness,
satisfying,
or the character
distinctive
of a
flavor
Heineken.
that cuts through
Its
your
quality
thirst.
comes through.
There's a uniqueness to it.
Heineken is America's #1 selling imported beer. Amstel Light is America's #1 selling imported light beer. Why? Just ask the people who drink them.
In
you
my
ask
opinion,
me,
Amstel
Heineken
Light is the best beer there is. I could go
I
on
can't
and
say
on
enough about it.
It's a light
No
beer
matter how
that
many
quenches
beers-
your thirst.
Hey, where's the food? How about tacos? Yeah, tacos. Yeah, tacos.
Taco Bell introduces tacos to go. Now get our original tacos in a 10-pack for $5.89 or a 6-pack for just $3.54. Packed and ready to go. Anywhere you've got a few hungry friends. Tacos to go. At this price, it won't take much to keep them quiet.
When it comes to sports, your team is here on Channel 7.
Back in Oakland for Game 1 of the World Series. A's draw first blood. 3-0. Goodyear Blimp, Columbia. Hovering above the San Francisco Bay Area. Low clouds. In the twilight. Temperature about 60 degrees. And the World Series. Game 1 goes to the 3rd inning with Terry Kennedy to lead things off for the Giants. Kennedy, Uribe, and Butler. Kennedy came over in an off-season deal with Baltimore. Giants sending Bob Melvin to the Orioles. And when the season began, they figured he'd be the backup catcher to Kurt Manwaring. He's now #1, and he grounds one down to Weiss, who throws him out. out in the third inning, and Jose Uribe comes to the plate. And we can tell you that the only unbeaten team in the National Football League, the Los Angeles Rams, take their 5-0 mark into Rich Stadium in Buffalo to take on the Bills on Monday Night Football at 9 Eastern Time, 6 Pacific.
Frank Gifford and Dan Deerdorf will be Al Michaelis.
You might say. Not planning to be there on Monday night.
You have other things?
Yeah.
Right?
Jose Uribe, switch hitter, takes a strike, and the count is 0-1. Giant shortstop as a left-handed batter, 276 this season. As a right-handed hitter, 200. And the pitch away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike.
Started the season hitting entirely right-handed. Went something like 4 for 50 and said, hey, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, he had bridled at that suggestion at the outset. And the count 1-2.
Tim McCarver told you about playing a guy one way and pitching him that way, and it appears they're playing him around the left field. They're going to throw him hard stuff, maybe a fork ball when they get ahead in the count, like 1-2, but they're going to make him hit the ball to left field.
2-2.
The problem the Cubs had with Uribe in the playoffs, they threw him a lot of changeups. He doubled down the right field line when the defense was shifted the other way.
So a break for the Giants as Stewart can't handle the chopper hit back toward the middle, and Uribe is on with 1 out.
Well, Dave 0 for 2 tonight. Right there, I mean, he had plenty of time to field the ball. Probably had problems judging how hard it was hit. Again, takes his time. Uribe running hard all the way. Just beats it out. There's 2 outs that haven't been recorded for Dave Stewart and the Oakland A's.
Yeah, the only 2 base runners, an error on Dave Stewart and a base hit by Jose Uribe.
It scored an infield single, and Brett Butler, they appeal at third base, and Dutch Leonard says, no, sir, 1-0.
Jim Palmer disagrees with the official score. I can see it in your eyes.
Right in the glove. I'm sure Uribe doesn't.
Half swing by Butler, but he holds back in time. And then Brett goes after the next pitch and pops it up. It's an easy play for Walt Weiss on the edge of the grass. And Butler is out number 2. So Uribe at first base, 2 down, and Robbie Thompson comes to the plate. It is difficult here at this time of day normally as you look at the outfielders' perspective, but as we mentioned with the low cloud cover, the outfielders and the hitters getting a break, with the lights having almost full effect right now. Thompson takes a strike. No threat of rain. Funny thing about Oakland, though, I mean, this is normally the perfect month in the Bay Area, October, but the first ever World Series game played here in 1972 between the Reds and the A's rained out on a night when the rest of the Bay Area was bathed in sunshine and a cloud literally hung over the Coliseum. 0-2. That's the night Bowie Kuhn went sloshing through the outfield, and when he came up with mud on his Gucci's, that was the end of that. No game tonight.
The pitch you see, probably the least likely pitch from Dave Stewart, the curveball or a big slurve, fools Robbie Thompson. We told you, a high ball hitter, you better keep it down. You will have a good, healthy swing.
Runner goes, and Thompson is gone on strikes. And the Giants are gone in the third. Middle of the third, 3-0 Oakland.
Night, dear.
I think I left the living room light on.
I'll get it.
Oh, the kitchen, too.
Got it.
Control your lights from anywhere in the house. Just buy $15 worth of Stanley tools. And we'll send you a light maker, control unit, and lamp module free.
Did you leave the light on for Chris?
Of course I did.
Also, enter the Stanley Tools Secret to Security contest with 200 prizes, including 10 Chevy trucks at participating Stanley dealers.
Who's pulling away in advanced 4x4 technology? Chevy S10 Blazer or Ford Bronco 2? Both can get you through the mud. But when you shift from four-wheel drive high to two-wheel drive, Chevy with InstaTrack never asks you to back up, while Ford says you should stop and back up 10 feet for reduced wear on their front drive system. Chevy S10 Blazer is #1, clean and simple. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Today's truck is Chevrolet.
You're in Hong Kong. I like it.
I like you loud and clear. I like you close and near. I like my MCI. I like to wander and roam. I like to call back home. I get more. I like my MCI. I like my MCI.
She's all ours.
Going into business. Got something new. Gonna bring it down. Red, white, and blue. Coming through.
Nice place. How about some customers?
Ladies' night.
Great place, guys. Who did your decorating?
Dave Parker to lead off in the bottom of the third inning. A's sending 8 men to the plate in the second. They lead 3-0 in game one. Parker, Dave Henderson, and Mark McGwire facing Scott Garrels. And the Cobra takes up high, ball one. Parker played in the World Series first in 1979, 10 years ago with Pittsburgh, and then last year hit .345 in the 79 series. And then last year, 3 for 15 as the A's basically went into a collective slump against the Dodgers. And he hits a high drive to deep right field, and Dave Parker has hit his first World Series home run. Parker, who had 2 in the playoffs, hits one out, and it's 4-0. And Dave Henderson fouls it back.
Almost every left-hand hitter, a low ball hitter, great hitting count, 2-0. He just dropped the head of the bat. Right. And that ball was smoked. I mean, gone.
That's grounded to Uribe. And Jose throws Henderson out. So 1 down in the third inning. Dave Parker hitting 2 in the series with Toronto, and really, of course, savoring the second one when he was able to take a peek at Kelly Gruber as he rounded third at the Sky Dome.
Here's the home run one more time. Watch the ball down and in. A 2-0 fastball, the most volatile area for a left-handed hitter in particular. That ball down and in. If it wasn't that volatile, when you think about it, they'd make tees higher.
Also a very deliberate run around the bases, very much like we saw up in Toronto and here in Oakland during the playoffs. In fact, he was almost in their dugout. That's how wide a turn he took getting to first.
2-1 the count. La Russa got him to shorten that little turn, though, last year. I mean, Dave would hit a home run and be in San Jose. And then come back up the shoreline as it's grounded foul, and the count 2-2. With McGwire at the plate, we can take a look at where he normally hits the ball through the course of the regular season. As you can see, he's a pull hitter, hitting predominantly to the left side, and the Giant defense reflects that. 3-2. In fact, in that low home shot, you see the center fielder Brett Butler playing him to pull. And when he hits the ball to the left side, 354, up the middle, 305, and no success at all when he goes the other way.
Hence the 231 batting average.
And he goes the other way, and it's a little looping fly ball to right field, but it falls in for a base hit. So McGwire, who hit 147 when he goes to right field during the regular season, gets a little looper for a single.
Of course, you don't want that to happen when you're already trailing 4-0, but over the course of a season, this is exactly what you want to happen to McGwire.
Yeah, but it's mythical to think that you got to play all the power hitters deep in the opposite direction. Two guys in this game, Mark McGwire dumping one in front of Candy Maldonado, and Dave Parker doesn't have real good power the other way. He can't hit a line drive the other way over the opposite fielder's head.
Kelly Downs again up for Roger Craig in the bullpen with Steinbach at the plate and the count 0-1.
Big difference between big, strong guys like Parker and McGwire in the pull position as opposed to the opposite position. McGwire to right.
Yeah, Canseco, you better play out on the warning track.
Yeah, because he's got good power the other way. McGwire has power with a fly ball, but if you play him shallow the other way, the fly ball itself, the loft of the fly ball, will allow the opposite fielder to get back under a ball like that.
1-2.
That gives you time. The opposite fielder, in my opinion, should position himself where the hitter cannot drive a ball over his head, and thereby cut down on all the flares hit the other way, like the one McGwire just got.
And the perspective on where Maldonado was positioned was Steinbach at the plate, and the count 2-2.
Of course, if you go back to the reason why Maldonado is playing, Roger Craig will tell you it's a hunch, but I think Pat Sheridan, who played mostly right field, left-handed hitter, better defensive player, I think maybe Roger Craig thinks they need more offense.
Steinbach down on strikes. That's the second out with McGwire at first base. 2 down in the third inning. 3 strikeouts for Scott Gereltz, and it will bring up Phillips.
Now batting, second baseman Tony Phillips.
Tony Phillips singled in the second inning. One big difference between these two teams is that bottom of the order. We mentioned the Giants have a lot of trouble. 7, 8, and 9, of course. 9 being a situation where the Giants can have a regular as opposed to the National League Park as it's hit foul. And the A's are tough, though, at the bottom of the lineup with Steinbach, this man, Phillips, and then either Weiss or Gallego hitting ninth.
And of course, part of why a team is tough is that how do you pitch them? They're playing him to left field, and the first base hit was on a curveball. So really what Gereltz did is cross up his defense. You would assume they'd pitch Phillips away with hard stuff.
0-2 the count. McGwire no threat to run at first base, so Clark is playing behind him. No balls and 2 strikes the count. And Phillips gone on strikes. But in the inning, the home run by Dave Parker. And at the end of 3, 4-0 Athletics.
Hello tomorrow, goodbye yesterday. You can feel the emotion, we're breaking away. A generation of life, we have our own voice. A generation of taste, and Pepsi's our choice. We're leading the way, now let it be said. A generation of Pepsi, a generation ahead, a generation.
Chevy S10 4-wheel drive pickups take on the 4-wheel drive Ford Ranger. Look, to shift from 4-wheel drive high to 2-wheel drive, Ford says you should stop and back up 10 feet for reduced wear on the front drive system. While Chevy with InstaTrack never asks you to back up, so you can go forward with Chevy or backward with Ford. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Today's truck is Chevrolet. I thought I was hearing things.
There's my IBM salesman telling me that we need a special piece of equipment that IBM doesn't even make, but offering to get it for me anyway, and to integrate it with what we already have. Ooh. So I asked him, hey, what's the story here? The story is that IBM is telling its people to solve problems, not just sell hardware and software. This is not the IBM I thought I knew.
The on-off endurance test. The shake test. The impact test. You'll probably buy only one furnace in your life, so buy the one that's built to last a lifetime.
The Lennox Pulse Gas Furnace. Take it from Dave Lennox.
For home heating, for cooking, hot water, or drying, choose gas, America's best energy value.
The 1989 World Series, brought to you by today's truck, Chevrolet. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Fourth inning in Oakland. Al Michaels, Jim Palmer, Tim McCarver. Game 1 of the World Series. 4-0 A's. Will Clark to lead off. And this is exactly when the A's would love to see Will Clark all series long, leading off. Clark, Mitchell, and Williams facing Dave Stewart. And Will takes away ball 2. 2-0. Giants limited to 1 hit. Scratch single in the 3rd by Uribe. And Clark fouls it off, and the count is 2-1.
Al, we mentioned the controversy between Dave Parker and Kelly Gruber during the American League Championship Series. Because of the 4 days off that the Giants and A's have had, controversy has arisen from the Giants camp, too.
Fouled away, and of course Clark is in the middle of it. When you have 4 days off, it's almost like a Super Bowl. Week begins with Kevin Mitchell missing practice, and he was down in San Diego ostensibly closing on a house, even though there was some reports he was down there involved in a court case. As Clark pops it up in foul territory, and third baseman Carney Lansford is there to make the catch. One away with Kevin Mitchell coming up. Then, of course, it's Clark who on Wednesday begins to talk about his ex-teammate Jeffrey Leonard and describes him as a tumor. And then on Thursday, Leonard lashes back through the media by saying that Clark is a racist. Meanwhile, while that's going on the Giants side, on the A's side, you have the never-ending Dennis Eckersley situation, which started during the playoffs with Cito Gaston in Toronto. And outside of that, nothing new this week. Mitchell at the plate. Fouls it away, and the count is 0-1.
Bobby Brown, president of the American League, apparently is not going to look at the films that the Blue Jays sent to him until after the... That's, of course, it's not from the Blue Jays themselves, but from the stadium operations up at the Sky Dome in Toronto. So he will wait till after the World Series.
Pitch away, and the count 1-1.
Tony La Russa assured us that they can look all they want, and they will find nothing.
And he was adamant about it.
You're better than your teammates, Kevin.
1-1 to Mitchell. Swung on and missed, and the count 1-2. One thing La Russa's concerned about with the Eckersley thing is Dennis is a very sensitive guy and very sensitive to these charges.
And he reacted. In fact, he was very apologetic that he apparently was profane in his reaction to Cito Gaston, that he lost his head, which is what Gaston wanted him to do. Hoped it would cause him to pitch less successfully.
In the dirt, 2 balls and 2 strikes on Kevin Mitchell.
A guy who is even more sensitive to his pitchers is the pitching coach of the Athletics, Dave Duncan. Tony says if you do something to one of the pitchers of the Athletics, Dave Duncan never forgets it.
Well, one of the things that happened, of course, you probably read about the Bobby Valentine controversy. Bobby was working the dugout area for NBC during the playoffs, and it was Duncan who thought perhaps that it was Valentine who tips Gaston off to Eckersley's supposed Emory board. And Tony, even though he was implicated in originally, said, hey, look, I never for one moment doubted that Valentine was involved. I never said it. I don't know where it got started. And Valentine is not at all to be implicated. And, of course, Bobby, during the course of the week, said, hey, if anybody can prove that I had anything to do with that, I'll quit. I'll resign as the manager of the Rangers. 3-2 to Kevin Mitchell. Is lined into right field for a base hit. So the first solid hit for the Giants and their second hit overall. And Mitchell at first base with one out, and Matt Williams coming to the plate.
You know, Kevin had such an outstanding National League Championship Series. He hit .353 with 2 home runs, but overshadowed so much by Will Clark. He's been up twice. He's hit 2 balls right on the nose. One that was speared by Phillips in that line drive. But that's where you want him to hit it. Hit it the other way and hope it stays in the ballpark. They're hitting 47 during the regular season.
1-0 the count on Williams.
Again, remember what they say about Stewart. Has trouble usually early, but does pitch to the level of competition. He's got a 4-run lead. He sat on the bench a long time.
Broken bat pop-up in foul territory, and lots of room in the logo for Carney Lansford. 2 down. Logo of this particular World Series noted as the Battle of the Bay. And there is the Bay. San Francisco Bay. We're in what's known as the East Bay. And Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, if necessary, over in the city.
That looked like a silk screen piece of art, didn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Dusk in Oakland.
Tell you, to take you back to Steve Sax's inside pitch about Dave Stewart. You saw Matt Williams, a good fastball hitter, getting jammed when he was ahead in the count on the fastball. And I think that herky-jerky movement of Stewart is one of the reasons for that.
Mitchell at first, and Riles takes up high.
That's another reason. Dave Stewart, of course, Al Michaels told you that he was released, but he has always had this kind of stuff. He was a closer down in Texas, tried to mess around with a forkball, and Doug Rader, who did a great job with the Angels, said, hey, forget about that. You throw too hard. You're throwing that kind of pitch. And there's one in the dirt.
And blocked by Steinbach.
The minute he comes over to Oakland, Tony La Russa says, hey, you're going to be a starter. You got a curveball, you got a fastball, but that forkball will make all those pitches better. Not when you throw it here, well out in front of home plate. Again, 20 wins, 21 wins last year, and 21-9 for Dave Stewart.
Two and two.
Last time a pitcher in the American League won 20 games 3 years in a row. When was that, Al? Well, you know the name?
Big right-hander from Baltimore.
Actually, it was 4 years in a row, guys.
Underwear salesman.
Yeah.
You're putting additional pressure on Stewart.
He's going to do it again.
Giants done in the fourth. 4-0 Oakland. Into 3 in the half.
It's just a pure and natural beer for you. So icy cold, so crisp, so clean for you. The king of beer, so fresh, so true for you. You got the taste, this buzz for you. It's not just a car, it's your freedom.
I don't care what they say. Parts aren't just parts.
Sure, there's other brands, but these GM Goodwrench pads are full width.
And this is the built-in wear sensor that tells you when they need replacing.
The thing about a brake job is it doesn't take any longer to do it right.
A car that won't start, that's a problem. A car that won't stop.
See Mr. Goodwrench wherever you see these signs.
Brakes, most important thing we do on a car.
My Uncle Roy T. Cashman was killed when I was 11 years old. It had a lot to do with me wanting to become a volunteer fireman in the fire department. We have a lot of trust in each other because our lives are in each other's hands.
Good morning, Neil. How you doing?
I've been in a burning house, and it's a feeling I'll never forget.
Many of these firefighters trust Neil Cashin with their life insurance.
I think Neil got in the fire department because of the red lights and the sirens.
He's been with New York Life a long time, and with the fire department even longer.
If he's in a building with you, you don't have to worry about him leaving on you.
New York Life, the company you keep.
Union, yes.
Respect, pride. Our unions help make sure you take home more than just a paycheck. You take home your dignity.
America works best when we say union, yes.
Between innings, Dave Parker, they're giving a little advice to Canseco. Jose, you know, I know you're 1 for 21 in the last 2 years. Hit him that away.
Yeah, you get the count to 2-0. Look for the fastball and drop the head on the bat. It's easy. Don't swing at those curveballs with 2 strikes and punch out twice.
Weiss leading off in the 4th inning. Weiss, and in the top of the order, Ricky Henderson and Carney Lansford. 4 runs, 6 hits, and an error for the A's. No runs, 2 hits, and an error for the Giants. And of all people, Weiss drives one to right field and gone. During the regular season. And LaRusse is saying one reason he wanted Weiss in the lineup, that extra left-handed bat tonight. And it turns out to be the right choice. Have jumped on top 5-0. The Giant bullpen gets busy again, and Ricky Henderson is the batter, and Atlee Hammaker gets up in the Giant pen. The count.
See Weiss talking to hitting instructor Merv Brennan, and Merv said he's been swinging so well right-handed that he's thinking about maybe exclusively hitting right-handed, and there he goes, hits a home run left-handed. Merv saying, hey, that's exactly what I told you to do.
All 3 of his homers this season came as a left-handed batter, and the count on Henderson is 3-1.
I think the Weiss's injury to his knee was his right knee, so it'll be less painful to hit left-handed.
3-2 the count. The quiet Giant bench with Craig and Dusty Baker and Bob Lillis. And it's in there in the count, 3-2. Brantley is also throwing, or Kelly Downs rather is up again. It's the 3rd time in the Giant bullpen with the left-hander Hammaker. And Henderson gone on strikes, 1 out.
I don't think there's any question that Ricky Henderson intimidates the umpires. I think he gets a lot of mileage out of questioning called strikes. He questioned that 3-2 pitch, and I think over the long haul, nobody in baseball gets as much mileage out of questioning umpires' calls as Ricky Henderson. As a matter of fact, he was even joined by George Steinbrenner when he was with the Yankees last year.
Lansford hits a fly ball to shallow left field. Mitchell comes in and puts it away. So 2 down after the leadoff home run by Weiss. And it'll bring up Canseco.
The strike zone controversy with Steinbrenner and Henderson was, will the strike zone be where he starts his stance or will it be where he finishes? And the American League umpires said, hey, where you finish your stance is where we're going to call the strikes. Ricky didn't like it, nor did George.
Canseco now looks at a strike, and the count is 0-1.
We'll see if Dave Parker's advice helped. Jose been up twice, both times out on good curveballs, blown away on strikeouts.
1-1 the count. Well, one thing Roger Craig doesn't have to think about, since this is in the American League Park, is Garrelts and his removal for a pinch hitter at any particular point. The 1-1 pitch is hit foul, and that becomes an interesting little thing here too, because then you say to yourself, how long do you leave Garrelts in? Because the Giants, with Robinson and the knee problem, scheduled to work in Game 3, and they're thinking about maybe Lacoste or maybe coming back with Garrelts in the fourth game. That's something that has to come into play in Rogers' mind right now.
That's why this first game is much more important for the Giants to win than it is for the Athletics.
Another decision you have to make is Garrelts tired, pitching more innings than he ever has. Didn't pitch well in the playoffs. Struggled obviously here tonight. But you let him really maybe destroy his confidence and get a little bit more tired?
Well, there's some question about how the Giants will set up the entire rotation for the series. There's little question in the A's camp. With Stewart tonight, Moore tomorrow, Welch in Game 3, and then Storm Davis in Game 4. And the count full on Canseco, 3-2.
Because if you ask me how come the transformation from Scott Garrelts from a reliever to a starter, Roger Craig will tell you he's got a fastball, he's got a curveball, and he's mixing them up well along with a forkball.
Popped up, foul territory, and room there for Clark, and Canseco is 0 for 3. He's done no damage, but that man has, among others. As we go to the fifth, it's 5-0 Oakland. Back we come after a word from our ABC stations.
Starting 2 weeks from tonight, 4 great stars in a series of all-new mysteries. Peter Falk, Burt Reynolds, Jacqueline Smith, and Telly Savalas. The premiere of the ABC Saturday Mystery in 2 weeks.
Over the past decade, all other lines of cars have led Mercedes-Benz in one crucial category: depreciation. Which proves that sometimes great cars finish last. Mercedes-Benz, the resale legend.
Naturally, I like going out to eat as much as the next person. But frankly, there are financial considerations.
We knew that was going to be an issue, and we were ready. That's when we offered her a golden opportunity.
I was delighted to see McDonald's had actually considered my situation.
She was ecstatic. All she had to do was buy a medium or large order of fries, then peel the golden opportunity coupon.
Right off the box. It's good for 50 cents off McDonald's most popular sandwiches with a large or supersized Coca-Cola on my next visit.
In this case, her golden opportunity was waiting at McDonald's.
In the glory days of Rome, Caesar entertained his guests with the most spectacular sporting events in all the empire. 2,000 years later, he still does. Caesar's Palace. Relive the legend.
This is Mark Coogan in the Eyewitness Newsroom. A Delta Airlines jet out of Los Angeles catches fire, but all are safe. And a Southland tour bus crashes in Las Vegas. Details right after the game.
Series analysis with Steve Garvey and Todd Donahoe after the game.
We go to the fifth inning, Game 1 of the 1989 World Series. It's been that kind of night. That picture summing up Scott Garrelts' evening. Walt Weiss driving one over the wall. Dave Parker has also homered. The A's got 3 in the second. One in the third, one in the fourth, lead 5-0, and Dave Stewart sails along as we go to the fifth inning. Maldonado, Kennedy, and Uribe. Candy struck out in the second inning. Kennedy on deck. Funny thing about Kennedy, his father, Bob Kennedy, now a Giant consultant, was the first Oakland A's manager when they moved here from Kansas City in '68. As Maldonado pops it up in foul territory, and Mark McGwire has a lot of room. One gone. So now Kennedy, of course, grew up in a baseball family. His dad, the manager of the A's in '68 when Charlie Finley brought the team west, and now working in the Giant front office under Al Rosen. That's grounded to the right side. McGwire has no time to break back to first base, but Kennedy's a slow runner, and Stewart gets there to take the throw from Phillips. So 2 down in the fifth inning. Is that Roseanne? Is that the real Roseanne? That's the real Roseanne. Well, for a moment it was somebody dressing up as Roseanne. Nope.
You mean dressing down as Roseanne?
You said it. You said it.
Well, look, I mean, very casual here. She'll be in mink over in San Francisco, no doubt.
2 down in the fifth inning, and Jose Uribe is the batter. Scratch single in the third was the first Giants hit. And the count 1-0. One and one. Coliseum, this has been a real home of champions in the last couple, quietly and quickly, and it remains 5-0 A's.
I was feeling pretty good when I saw my boy Joe in that new Oldsmobile. I thought Joe had finally matured some. But that new Cutlass Clay doesn't look like any Oldsmobile that I ever had. It's got something called a high output Part 4 engine. The next thing you know, Joe will be bringing home girls.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile. This is a new generation of Olds.
Now get up to a $1,600 cash bonus on a 1990 Cutlass Calais. See your Olds dealer today.
I got a meter.
Down, boy.
Well, it's now or never.
Attention, shoppers. You're at a romantic dinner at her place. Candlelight, wine, something with a little spinach in it. And for dessert,
Come on.
humble pie. But she sees your dandruff.
I don't have dandruff.
Fine. Use your regular shampoo.
I can't have dandruff.
Aisle 9.
You mean you use Head and Shoulders?
Yeah.
But you don't have dandruff.
Right. Neither will she.
Head and Shoulders.
Hi.
Because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own. The kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing. And it shows.
We love to fly.
He's the kid.
And it shows.
My pain is at the bottom of my elbow. It's throbbing. The more you twist, the more the pain hurts. When I get a pain like that, I will take aspirin.
Today, Richard Mazzancini is trying extra-strength Tylenol gel caps. For pain like his, why take aspirin or ibuprofen when nothing works better than Tylenol gel caps?
The pain is gone. It's great. I feel good. No pain. It doesn't hurt. It feels fluid. I'm convinced I'm going to be a gel cap user.
Extra-strength gel caps, only from Tylenol. For everyday pain, nothing works better.
Hi, my name is Dave Stewart of the Oakland A's. All my favorite shows are on ABC. MacGyver, 30-something, and China Beach.
Bottom of the fifth inning, Dave Parker will be leading things off for Oakland, as he did in the third inning with this result against Garrelts. He'll try to duplicate it against Atlee Hammaker, who comes in to pitch in the bottom of the fifth inning, and the count is 0-1. So we speculated before. I mean, Craig has to keep his options open, so he's elected to remove Gereltz, and Scott was, let's face it, ineffective, 5 runs in 4 innings, but it does give him that 4th game option now, and the count is 0-2. He's not locking himself into having to pitch somebody else in game 4. He can now come back with Gereltz, who, when he's worked extensively on a given day or night, has not been effective on 3 days rest.
But he has been effective at Candlestick Park in San Francisco.
In fact, the whole Giants staff, I mean, their ERA of 2.72 at home, yet 3.92, almost 4 runs a game on the road. So they, of course, these parks very similar in dimensions. Well, and also, you know, other than Dodger Stadium, Shea Stadium, right here at Oakland Alameda County Stadium and Candlestick Park, number 3 and 4 as far as the amount of runs scored per game, cutting down batting averages. Good places to pitch. Not tonight for Scott Gereltz, though.
Down goes Parker, so Hammaker comes out of the bullpen to strike him out to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning, and Dave Henderson will be the batter. A's, as you can see, last year, Canseco hit that grand slam in game 1, and then McGwire hit the game-winning homer in game 3 in the 9th inning, and that was that. And they've already hit 2 home runs in 21 at-bats in game 1 tonight. Dave Henderson, 0 for 1 plus a walk. Takes low ball 1.
Oh, and it goes back to a point that you made. How important is pitching going to be in this World Series? The Dodgers, best pitching in the National League, under 3 runs a game.
Grounded down to Uribe, and the low throw scooped by Clark, so 2 down. And the batter will be Mark McGwire. A reminder, next Sunday on ABC Sports, international basketball at its finest, McDonald's Basketball Open, featuring the Denver Nuggets of the NBA and teams from Italy, Yugoslavia, and Spain in round-robin competition. Live from Rome next Sunday, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific here on ABC. McGwire takes outside, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Mark with as many hits tonight as he had in the entire World Series last season.
1 for 17 last year. Canseco 1 for 19.
So a composite 2 for 36 as Clark, and even in Oakland, he can't make the play. And the count is 1-1.
Did he lose that ball? He overran it.
Yeah.
I mean, he overran it. Maybe he thought he was feeling it in Candlestick Park.
Of course, you've seen him play in Candlestick, but also here you really need to get a lot of help from not only the shortstop but the second baseman at first and third pop-ups because of a better angle. So Robbie Thompson, it's like playing in right here. If Robbie Thompson gives up on this ball, and right there you see that Will Clark doesn't have any idea where it is.
I lost it too.
Help. Yeah.
Robbie had the best angle, but Will Clark had actually overrun it. But he fooled Thompson on the play. I think a play like that, with the conditions as ideal as they are right now, a case could be made that should be an error. Will Clark, a usually outstanding fielder, and Robbie Thompson, you could see him pull up because he thought Clark was under the ball. He was under it, but not under it. He was under it, but he was 10 feet away from it.
Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, bases empty, 5-0 Athletics in the bottom of the 5th. And McGwire staying alive with the count 3-2.
Again, going back to that point about pitching, and the point you made, Tim, is that you don't think the Giants have a Hershiser. Somebody that can dominate them like the Dodger pitching staff did last year and even dominated the National League this year. They just couldn't score runs.
Shattered bat and a looper into right center field and a base hit. So McGwire, who gets a second life when the foul ball drops untouched, capitalizes with a single to center. So Mark is 2 for 3 tonight, and the A's have had at least one man on in every inning.
Again, the hard stuff. If you're not trailing 5-0, this is what you want McGwire to do. Hit 33 home runs this year, along with Jose Canseco, the only guys in baseball history that have ever hit 30-plus home runs their first 3 years. So you'll take the looper.
Smaller guys can't get hits like that. Number one, they're not strong enough to carry it over the infield. And number two, the outfield is more shallow for the smaller guys, and they catch a ball like that. So there's a lot more of an advantage to being big and strong. Number one, they play you deeply to where you can get your share of broken bat hits, and that's what Mark just did.
So McGwire tonight with a little looping fly ball that drops into right field for a single, and a shattered bat single, and Steinbach fouls it away. And the count is 1-1. Crowd getting on Clark as Will this time does run out of room. What can you say about Will Clark after that National League Championship Series? They should name a candy bar after him, right? You've got a Reggie bar.
Already have.
Baby Ruth, that's what I'm saying. The name is already taken.
He did so well against the Cubs, they named a street after him in Chicago.
Right, on the corner of Addison and Clark.
Yeah, Mitchell might change his name to Addison, right?
That's grounded foul, and the count is 1-2.
The Thrill Bar. Well, I guess apparently Ken Griffey Jr., they sent a box of Ken Griffey Jr. candy bars. They said, couldn't you come up with a more original name for the bar?
If a Thrill Bar would sell.
Not in Oakland.
I'd have second thoughts about buying a Thrill Bar.
You would?
Yeah, I would.
You'd have bought one in San Francisco Monday afternoon. You'd have bought anything. 2-2. McGwire at first base, and Clark playing behind him with 2 out in the 5th inning. A's on top 5-0. Field, and Kevin Mitchell positions himself to make the catch and retire the side. Oakland gone in the 5th. It remains 5-0.
I was always the quarterback's favorite target. I never dropped the ball because I had hands like glue. And even after football, I stick with my favorite beer, Miller Lite. I don't want some watered-down version of a regular beer. I want the less filling beer that tastes great.
Why? Not again.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Dwight.
Nice. There's no catch. When it's Miller Lite, less filling tastes great.
Trofeo, Trofeo. It's a new generation and we want a new world.
Sequential port, fuel injection, anti-lock brakes.
It is come and we want a new horse.
Visual information center, handles great.
This Oldsmobile is not our father's.
New generation for the sons and daughters.
Trofeo. This is the new generation of Oldsmobile.
George 117 in pursuit of best additional backup. Do you copy? 117. Let's get a roadblock.
Chopper 1, do you receive?
Chopper 1 coming east. I'll light it up.
Every one of these police cars comes on Goodyear Eagles, and only on Goodyear Eagles. Why? Because they want it that way. Goodyear Eagles. There really is a difference.
You've been staring out there all day. What are you doing?
Trying to figure out which computer is the most powerful.
Well, that's easy. The one with the most memory, megahertz, MIPS, you know.
No, I don't think so.
There we go.
I think the most powerful computer is the one that people actually use.
Macintosh has the power to change the way you look at computers.
But that's not really a fair comparison. People like using the Mac.
The 1989 World Series, brought to you by the new generation of Oldsmobile. Step into the future, now at your Oldsmobile dealer.
Well, we described this more as a love fest than a rivalry. Don't you guys get the feeling that it's summed up, the Bay Area feeling is really summed up by those fans who wear those hybrid caps, half Giants, half A's?
Yeah, right. Well, dinner last night, I said, somebody said, have a good game. And I said, well, and who should I root for? And from both sides of the table, I heard A's and Giants. So I mean, a lot of people probably haven't made up their mind at this point.
You kind of get the feeling it's an inter-squad game, right? A spring training game or something.
At least at the outset. But let's see how things go along about next Wednesday.
Over the winter.
Yep. The lines could eventually be drawn. Game 1. Moving to the 6th inning, Dave Stewart on the mound. And he's been ahead on the count to just about all of the Giants because he picked up that early lead. He's limited them to 2 hits, and it's the top of the order, Brett Butler at the plate. Taking high, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Butler, Thompson, and Clark. Every time Butler comes to the plate, you'll see that shot of Lansford or any third baseman in on the grass because of his bunting prowess in there, and the count 2-1.
Again, Butler really hitting Stewart well in the American League when he was over there with Cleveland, 11 for 28 with 10 walks, so on base about 55% of the time. And that's what he's got to do. I mean, if you want to contrast Brett Butler in the playoffs to Ricky Henderson, didn't take as many pitches as Henderson did. Didn't walk as many times, did not have a particularly good series, only hitting .211. There he takes it. He's going to make Stewart work down by 5 runs, and if he gets on, boy, then you got to pitch to Thompson and Clark and Mitchell and Williams.
3-2 to Butler. He's popped in the air in foul territory. Lansford and Steinbach both come over, and Carney puts it away. One down in the 6th inning. Again, the Giants with just 2 hits. The scratch single by Uribe, which could have been scored either way. And the single the opposite way by Mitchell in the 4th. Stewart has not walked the man. And he has struck out 3. Robbie Thompson at the plate. 1-0.
A perfect example of how good stuff Stewart has. He got behind Clark 2-0 last time, threw him 3 straight fastballs and got him out. You just don't see that. 2-0 in the playoffs. That's how Clark hit 13 for 20.
Little pop-up on the skin part Phillips. 2 down. And it will bring up Clark. We last saw that in Chicago before the playoffs. An aerial shot of the Cubs logo. Here, one of the skyscrapers with Go A's in lights on the shores of Lake Merritt. Goodyear Blimp Columbia providing the shots. Oakland sparkling on this Saturday night, the opening night of the World Series. Clark at the plate, and the count 1-0. Canseco goes back and misjudges it over his head and bounding away, and Clark goes into second with a double. So Canseco having trouble gauging it, Clark hitting it sharply, and the Giants with their 3rd hit.
For the 2nd time, and just about every outfielder will tell you the hardest play is the ball directly over your head. You don't really know which way to turn. He turns to his left, and again, the ball hit awfully well. Slight misjudgment, but that's 2 line drives that Clark's hit tonight.
The batter is Kevin Mitchell. It's in the dirt. Clark has to hold at second. To show you Stewart's dominance to this point, that's only the 4th ball the Giants have hit out of the infield. 2 of them by Clark. 1 a fly ball to center. Now the double. Butler fly to center to start the game, and then Mitchell with a single to right.
And Stewart, if there's any weakness, does give up a lot of home runs, 23 over the year in 257 innings, but no 3-run home runs, no grand slams. enough arrogance that even when you're facing a guy that hit 47 home runs and 2 in the playoffs, you'll come with a 5-run lead right down the middle and say, hey, is my stuff better than yours?
Mitchell just missed that 2-0 fastball. Could have been a 5-2 ball game very easily. People talk about baseball being a game of inches. In no other area is it more evident than on the bat. Difference between a swing like that and a ball going out of the ballpark about a half an inch. Get under the ball.
2-2.
Of course, Dave Stewart, what he's hoping that the reason he's won 20 games over the last 3 years is that he has just enough movement, Tim.
Yeah.
To cause that half an inch or quarter of an inch, the difference between a line drive and a pop-up, home run, and maybe a base hit. He is not afraid to throw the ball over the plate.
Giants waste a double by Clark. It remains 5-0 A's.
It has arrived. Good morning, Mr. Graves. This is the all-new 4-door Cutlass Supreme. Your mission is to show the world that it's causing an automotive revolution. Its sleek look and responsive performance make it a superpower among world-class cars.
This is not your father's Oldsmobile. Hey, head up! This is the new generation of ours.
It's all right. I've got my card.
I like it.
I like to wander and roam. I like to call back home. I like my MCI. I like you loud and clear. I like you close and near. I get more. I like my MCI. I like my MCI.
I just did something incredible. 5 minutes ago, I had gray hair, but now I don't. And this is what did it. New Option Instant from Clairol. The advanced way to get rid of the gray. New Option Instant for men is different. There's no messy mixing. It's so easy. Just press, apply, and only 5 minutes later, your natural-looking color's back. Hair even feels thicker. So why look like this?
When you can look like this.
New Option Instant from Clairol. The advanced way to get rid of the gray.
Well, fans, it all comes down to this moment. This is where it all gets decided. Johnson steps in, checks the signs, makes a few adjustments. This is a classic confrontation. He's digging in. Here's the delivery. And there it goes. He's going back, way back. It is going. It is gone.
Pepsi, a generation ahead.
Thursdays. The Young Riders.
Game 1 of the World Series at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. And the A's are ahead 5-0 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Tony Phillips, Walt Weiss, and Ricky Henderson. Phillips, switch hitter, comes up right-handed for the first time in the game. And the pitch is high for a ball. Tony La Russa playing a pretty pat hand for the most part. Really, the only decisions he has to make is in regard to his middle infielders. He also has Mike Gallego, and you've got any combination of Phillips and Weiss and Gallego. And then behind the plate with Steinbach and Hasse as Phillips singles to right field to start the 6th inning.
Yeah, he said he'd like to get Gallego in tomorrow night, but the way Weiss and Phillips are swinging the bat, Tony being a switch hitter, as you saw him get a base hit earlier, left-handed, now right-handed. I'll tell you one thing, you talk about great pitching. One of the reasons are guys like Phillips, former shortstop, now plays second base, great range, good arm. It's a lot easier when you're out on the hill.
Walt Weiss, his home run in the 4th inning made it 5-0. Turning around right-handed. He had .228 as a right-handed batter during the regular season. And squaring the bunt takes outside, ball 1. Rene Latchman, who, by the way, is very much in contention for the managerial job at Cleveland, which is open, and the Indians giving every indication of talking to Latchman at the end of the World Series. Was flashing the signs from third. Latchman, of course, has prior experience as the manager of the Milwaukee Brewers at one time and the Seattle Mariners as well. Missing a bunt attempt in the count 1-1.
There's a situation, Tim, where if Weiss bunts Phillips over with Henderson on deck, do you walk him? I mean, you really take the bat out of Ricky Henderson.
Not when you're behind by 5 runs. I don't intentionally walk anybody, I don't think.
So you let Henderson hit off of Hammer.
Yep.
Okay.
Swings away and rips it foul, does Weiss, in the count 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Hey, you talked about Rene Latchman and Dave McKay at first base. This ball foul by about a foot or more.
How much more?
How the eyes deceive you.
1-2 the count on Weiss. Williams has backed up at third, and Hammaker with a token throw over to first.
Okay, I'm hanging on Rene Latchman.
Rene Latchman and Dave McKay over at first base. Dave McKay also the physical fitness coach. And the Oakland A's really a top shelf organization to the extent that their coaches get extra money for the success of the ball club. We'll tell you about it after this pitch.
Ball strike 3. So Weiss has a word with the plate umpire Rich Garcia, and down he goes. He's Hammaker's second strikeout victim.
Peter Gammons of Sports Illustrated and a super writer told me before the game that the Oakland A's coaches, if the Athletics win the division, they get $10,000 extra. If they win the pennant, they get $10,000 extra. If they win the World Series, they get $25,000 extra, which means $45,000 into the pockets of coaches who don't make a lot of money. And that's on top of their World Series share.
And last year was over $100,000.
Yeah.
Where the winners and the losers make almost as much. There's not that much of a disparity.
You know, you rarely see incentives for coaches, but those guys do a great job. Most of them are not paid a lot of money. And I think it's terrific of the A's to have that system working, because nobody puts in more work than major league coaches. Tony La Russa handles the people, he handles the players, but all the work's done by the coaches, all the physical work.
Another benefit, of course, coaching with a club like Oakland and having back-to-back years is that you are considered for the managing openings, as Latchman is. And, of course, even though Dave Duncan is not linked to any particular opening or to any particular situation, the day will probably come when Dave will be more than seriously considered. That's hit into right field for a base hit. Phillips takes the big turn at second. The throw comes in, and then he gets back. He rounded the bag, looked at Latchman, and then scrambles back ahead of the throw for Maldonado. So Henderson with a single to right, and Ricky is 2 for 4. And the A's now have 10 hits in the game.
And the reason that Phillips only on an excellent execution of hitting, Maldonado playing very much shallower than he did before the off field on a right-hand hitter that does not have a lot of power. See Phillips just barely getting back as Uribe tries to make the tag. Good throw by Maldonado. We saw a bad throw earlier as he hits the cutoff man, almost comes into play as an out.
Carney Lansford, a single and 3 trips tonight. Infield at double play depth, and the pitch is taken for a strike, and the count is 0-1. Jeff Brantley starts the throw in the San Francisco bullpen. Phillips at second and Ricky Henderson at first. And Hammaker misses away in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Brantley in the Giants pen. Giants going with a 9-man pitching staff in postseason, and the A's with 10.
Roger Craig very, very impressed with Jeff Brantley, thinking Jeff could be a terrific stopper someday. Right now he's middle relief. A lot of young pitchers come up in that particular style. They're middle relief until they get over the early jitters, and then they're either moved into a starting position or an effective short man, depending on their effectiveness, of course.
7 wins, 1 loss over the season. Likes to bring him in to get out of an inning because he apparently has nerves of steel. Doesn't seem to bother the base-loaded situation.
A little chopper foul. For the moment, he's a setup man. The Giants closers, of course, are Steve Bedrosian from the right side and Craig Lefferts from the left side. Brantley and Downs and Hammaker, the middlemen. Going back to what we said at the very beginning tonight, I think it can only be appreciated in retrospect what Roger Craig has done this year with the Giants. With the pitching staff, with the injuries, to use 15 different starting pitchers, to have guys off and on the disabled list all season, and never lose more than 3 games in a row.
Of course, a lot of people feel that maybe the split finger fastball caused some of the shoulder injuries. Roger Craig says ask any of the pitchers. They don't seem to think that'd be the reason. Maybe it's the cold weather in Candlestick Park. You know, they pitched extremely well there. A lot of people think a split finger fastball is a very unorthodox pitch. Successful, but you don't have your fingers behind the ball. Have them around it. It's contrary to a lot of pitching.
Lansford hits a fly ball to right field. Maldonado started in, now backs up a few strides. Phillips tags but holds at second as the throw comes in, and that's the second out. So 2 down in the 6th inning with the A's ahead 5-0. And Jose Canseco is the batter. He's been silent tonight. He has struck out twice and fouled to first.
Dangerous situation, however, for Hammaker, because he throws in that zone that Jose likes it. A better low ball hitter. Hammaker, to be effective, has to keep the ball down. Jose, with that heralded 900 number, he's now 1 for 22 in the last 2 World Series. He might have to change it to 911, 911.
Either that or you should call collect.
Everybody who calls is calling collect.
Roger Craig now will go to the mound, and with Canseco, the right-handed batter, up here. Brantley in the bullpen.
What I meant by that is they call and he collects.
Yep. So as Craig goes to the mound, he's going to the bullpen as well. Brantley comes in to face Canseco with 2 on, 2 out, 5-0 the score, and we'll be back after a word from our ABC stations.
Next Saturday, who's the biggest of them all? Who's your little friend?
Wow, you're almost as big as my mom.
Mr. Belvedere. Then,
I've never gotten a C in my life. Neither have I, no matter how hard I try.
Living Dolls.
This is the shop of Samsat Bazaar, a thriving establishment on the outskirts of Bangkok. Unlike other international executives, he has no phone system, no computers, not even a fax machine. He does, however, enjoy one modern and efficient service nearly 4 billion people in 175 countries today can take for granted. UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Introducing the Hyundai Sonata.
Uh-oh, traffic.
It has a more powerful standard engine than a Honda Accord or Toyota Camry, plus more interior room. Yet it costs thousands less. In 1988, 4 million Americans bought midsize cars. Maybe they should have waited a year.
Did you say something about traffic?
The new midsize Sonata from Hyundai. We're making more sense than ever.
I've got a craving. It'd be so nice to get a piece of pizza, a hot and juicy slice. I got the gotta have a pizza blues.
Looking for a slice at a great price? Get new piece of pizza at AM/PM Mini Markets. Pepperoni or Supreme Combo, just 89 cents.
Come on, baby, to the right address. Fill up at AM/PM, and you'll fill up for less.
This is Mark Coogan in the Eyewitness Newsroom. The price of parking goes up on Southland streets, and rain causes traffic problems in the San Gabriel Valley. We'll have details right after the game.
Series analysis with Steve Garvey and Todd Donahoe after the game.
Dave Stewart looking on with a 5-run lead, and the A's trying to make it more with Canseco at the plate, Brantley into work, and the first pitch away in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Brantley, a teammate at Mississippi State of Will Clark, and coming in here trying to keep the Giants remotely in the game. Canseco hitting with 2 out and 2 on, and the A's ahead 5-0 in the 6th inning. And he's behind 3-0, and on deck, of course, is the left-hand batting Parker.
And I would think Canseco would be hitting here 3-0. Tony La Russa knows that with one swing, Canseco could put this game out of reach. Parker helped do this home run back in the 3rd.
And Brantley walks him on 4, so the bases are loaded. 2 down, and Dave Parker hit back to the box, homered, and struck out. Mike Lacoste going down to the Giants bullpen. Parker nubs one foul off to the left. 0-1 the count.
Very early on, even though Parker with a home run, you get an idea of who the Giants want to pitch to. Will it be Canseco or will it be Parker? You know, Parker had a splendid year. 22 home runs, led the A's in RBIs.
The 0-1 is in there, and the count 0-2. Parker, you might say, hopping mad over the call.
Also at 38 in his last year, as you watch. Yeah, a little bit low, Richie Garcia.
The 0-2 pitch, just low, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dave, with that earring, he went to a bigger model for postseason play. More like a half-carat job during the regular year. Now we're talking Tiffany's. And it's a ground ball to the right side. Thompson gobbles it up, then the force to Uribe at second. So Brantley gets out of it. A's lead 3, but lead 5-0 on to the 7th.
6 years ago, a new car maker called Lexus began a relentless pursuit. LS400. After 6 years of pursuing perfection, Lexus has created something for the rest of the world to pursue. Lexus, the result of our relentless pursuit of perfection.
There's something elemental in us all. A basic need to seek out for ourselves a quiet place. Oshkosh now makes clothing for that search. Clothing that brings together the soul of both nature and man. Rugged, comfortable, enduring. Celebrate your natural instincts in Oshkosh Sportswear. Now available at Sears.
Okay, Nolan. Put it in there.
Nolan! Are you still throwing outside?
She's right. Try low and inside.
For everyone who has ever dreamed.
And felt like a lightning rod.
Are you feeling okay?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Life goes on tomorrow.
Rebecca!
Following the World Series.
Teams develop distinctive personalities and styles. The combative A's of the 70s, the We Are Family Pirates of 1979. What about the Oakland A's? I asked Tony La Russa to describe this group.
Al, I really think that the character of our club is a very close one. This club is very, very tight. These guys have a lot of respect for each other. And I really think that's where it started last year. These guys first all respected themselves professionally. And I know that there isn't one time where there's even a hint of not backing each other up, not supporting each other. So I think the closeness on the club is what marks this team. I think the talent everybody looks at, I think they're very professional, but they're very close.
And they're on top 5-0 as we start the 7th inning. Matt Williams at the plate, and the count 2 balls and no strikes. Williams, Riles, and Maldonado. The A's have had things their way from almost the outset. 3 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. La Russa, I think many of you know, has a law degree. When Tony left baseball in the late 70s, he picked up his law degree at Florida State. And it was a funny thing. While he was there, the late Dick Hauser was the baseball coach for the Seminoles. And he said he picked up a lot from Dick, and also Bobby Bowden, then and now the football coach, and Hugh Durham, the basketball coach as well. As Williams hits a fly ball to left field. And Ricky Henderson is right there for the out. 1 away.
How about that graphic? The longest continuous A's manager since Connie Mack. Retired back in 1950.
And Mack owned the team, so that's why he was there over 50 years.
And he managed in a suit. Not a baseball suit either.
Is there a connection there? He managed in a suit, and La Russa has a law degree.
There is a connection, yes.
Yeah, but we'll drop it. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's a spurious one. 1-1. Riles, the Giants DH. Grounds one to the right side, and McGwire shovels to Stewart. 2 down in the 7th inning, and it will bring up Candy Maldonado.
By the way, other lawyers who were managers in the major leagues, Branch Rickey, Monty Ward, Huey Jennings, and Miller Huggins. And those 4 are in the Hall of Fame.
And there have been a few clubhouse lawyers.
Oh, indeed. Indeed.
By the way, the Athletics, the last time they were involved, or they had a World Series shutout thrown by an A, 1931, when the team was in Philadelphia. George Earnshaw did it. The only reason we bring it up is because you think of the great A's teams in the early 70s with Hunter and Lou and Holtzman, Odom, and you would have thought somebody along the way would have thrown one, but That's ripped foul, and the count, no balls and 2 strikes.
When you look at the scores of the 72, 3, and 4 world champion A's when they beat Cincinnati, the New York Mets, and the Los Angeles Dodgers, all low-scoring ball games. Even last year in losing to the...
On Maldonado's little pop, And again, the Giants are gone in order. It remains 5-0 Oakland.
IBM presents You Make the Call. With a runner on second, a batter hits a ground ball towards third. The fielder dives in vain, but then the ball hits the runner. Is he out? You make the call.
You got to juggle 10 things all at once and get them done right. Get them done before lunch. How are you going to do it? Well, you're going to PS to it with the IBM PS2. You can do things with micro-channel that other computers just can't handle. You got an edge in power and speed. You're a forward thinker. Yes, indeed. How are you going to do it? Easy. You're going to PS to it. The solution is IBM.
Because the fielder had a clear chance to catch the ball before it hit the base runner, the runner is safe and the ball is still in play. If you said so, you made the right call.
Miller Genuine Draft.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Cold filtered, never heat pasteurized. Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered his real draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Want to know how fresh McDonald's Grade A eggs are? Every day our hens are called on to lay 2.5 million of them. McDonald's breakfast tastes fresh because our eggs don't lay around.
When lunch and a day at the park are too much for Tommy Lasorda, he reaches for Rolaids. Nothing works better for acid indigestion. And why should heartburn take the fun out of the game? Relief. You know how to spell it.
The 1989 World Series, brought to you by Lexus Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection.
Heading to the bottom of the seventh, Al Michaels, Jim Palmer, and Tim McCarver in Oakland, where the A's lead game one 5-0. And Dave Henderson to lead things off against Brantley in the bottom of the seventh by grounding one on one hop to Williams. And that's throw to Clark for out number one. So Henderson has been silent tonight. So has Canseco. But Parker and Weiss have hit homers. The A's with 3 runs in the second. And Stewart's been masterful. And they lead 5-0 with Mark McGwire coming to the plate. Goodyear Blimp, Columbia. Tom Mattis is at the controls tonight. Cruising high above Oakland. Ship will head about 8 miles west on Tuesday for game 3. How far is it between the Coliseum and Candlestick Park? Well, with zero traffic, it's about a half-hour drive. With an overturned big rig, pack a lunch. 1-1. As the blimp flies, it's about 8 miles. There it is, San Francisco and Candlesticks in the extreme southeastern corner, and Oakland. And at some point, weather permitting during the series, we'll try to give you some perspective from the Blimp Stadium. McGwire wraps one into left field for a base hit. So Mark, who was 1 for 17 in last year's World Series, is 3 for 4 in game 1 tonight.
First thing he'll tell you, he loves being the one that does not be the focus of attention. Anonymity. When he hit 49 home runs 3 years ago, everybody wanted to interview him. He went right out through the writers, and there's a mass here right to the batting cage. Nobody asked him anything. I want to talk to Canseco, to Ricky Henderson, Tony La Russa, and that's exactly the way not Russo.
Poor Tony. At least people have finally begun to pronounce his name correctly most of the time. I mean, for years, they used to call him Rudy LaRusso after the Laker forward who played opposite Elgin Baylor. And occasionally, he still referred to that on a newscast or sportscaster, too. But he's very much establishing his own identity. back-to-back to the World Series, and among the other treats he'll have next year is, he's going to manage in the All-Star game. Little pop-up in foul territory. Clark gimping back and makes the catch like a highlight player. And also paying a little bit of a price, and you can tell that knee is really bothering him. Using that glove like a cesta here.
Full extension, and watch after he makes the catch how he comes to a limping halt. Takes you back to that triple he hit against the Cubs, and eventually scored the first run in Game 5, and then won it with the 8th inning single. Good play by Clark.
Phillips at the plate, 2 for 3. That's the 7th foul out in the game, and it tells you something about this ballpark. 1-0 with more foul territory than any park in the majors, it would figure. Circular stadium, built for both baseball and football, and as we mentioned before, the longtime home of the then Oakland Raiders. And the city of Oakland trying to get the Raiders back.
Along with the city of Sacramento.
And a few others. 2-0. But it's funny the way things have transpired in this city. The Raiders were here, sellout after sellout, and out they went. And we talked about it at the beginning tonight. The A's came west in '68 as you look at a panoramic shot of Oakland. And this franchise hit bottom in the late 70s. And it was saved by the Haas family, a San Francisco family, a Levi Strauss Company family, Walter Haas Sr. and Jr., and their son-in-law, Roy Eisenhart, in a press conference in 1980, to the surprise of everyone, bought the team from Charlie Finley and reestablished the franchise's roots. That's fouled away, and the count 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Early 80s, Billy Ball with Billy Martin. Ricky Henderson stealing 130 bases. 1981.
They inherited Billy Ball. Billy was here, so he came with the company. And then, of course, in '81, they won a division title. That was the year of the strike. They beat Kansas City in those mini playoffs. And then on to the ALCS, where they lost to the Yankees.
Lost to the Yankees 3 straight. And how did the Yankees celebrate it? A fight between Greg Nettles and Reggie Jackson.
In the old Oakland tradition.
Yeah, right.
2-2.
Yeah.
I would say not only were the A's of the 70s a dynasty, certainly by today's standards, 5 first-place finishes in a row, 3 world titles, but probably the most colorful group in recent times as well.
Yeah, they proved you don't have to get along to win.
3-2 the count. And yet through it all, they played in relative anonymity. For a team that won 3 straight world championships, attendance was simply average.
A tough time drawing 1 million people in those days. 1 million a year.
3-2 the count. 2 down. McGwire off and moving from first base. And the pitch is lifted to center field. And Brett Butler is there to make the catch, and down go the A's in the 7th. The Giants come up in the 8th, trailing Oakland 5-0.
Sorry, honey. There's none left.
More people are moving to Diet Pepsi, the right one.
At Lexus, we didn't just suppress the engine noise. We suppressed the gear noise. the exhaust noise, the wind noise. And all that was left was the perfect environment for you to create a little noise of your own. The new Lexus LS 400 luxury sedan. Lexus, the result of our relentless pursuit of perfection.
Mr. Ian McKenzie. I'm Angus McKenzie. Ian's moved down the road.
Today, with service to 175 countries,
Oh, you'd be wanting Ian Alistair, Mackenzie.
UPS delivers to nearly 4 billion people,
Also for Mackenzie.
including the extraordinary concentration of Mackenzies along the northeast coast of Scotland.
Mr. Ian Alistair Mackenzie.
No trouble finding me, did you, lad?
No trouble at all.
UPS, we run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
I wanted to live in the Rocky Mountain region. 12 or 13 of us have played together now for 8 to 10 years. We just have a good time.
Keep it down. What Tom does is he doesn't care if we make mistakes. He doesn't get down on anybody.
A lot of these players depend on Tom Dater for their life insurance.
It's all teamwork. It's, no individual players.
He's been on their team for 10 years, and with New York Life for 18 years.
Why would I buy insurance from a stranger when I can buy it from the worst fullback in Boise?
New York Life, the company you keep.
The Los Angeles Rams, the NFL's only unbeaten team, take their perfect record into Buffalo to meet the Bills on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Commissioner Fay Vincent, and he is seated next to Bart Giamatti's widow, Tony, a series dedicated to the memory of the late commissioner. Looking on, game 1 as we go to the 8th inning. 5-0. Dave Stewart sailing along with Kennedy at the plate, Uribe and Butler to follow. Mike Lacoste is up in the Giants bullpen. And the count 2 balls and no strikes. For one of the rare times tonight, ball 3. Ken Olbrich, fellow at 18 pinch hits this season, is out on deck. To bat for Uribe. Lacoste with his jacket is on his way back to the Giants dugout. So he has warmed up and probably will come in. There's Mike in the bottom of the 8th inning. Grounded toward the middle. Phillips is over there to backhand it. Throw him out. 1 away in the 8th inning, and Ken Oberkfell comes up. Monday Night Football, Rich Stadium in Buffalo will be the site. Minus Kelly, the Bills trying to get squared away under Frank Reich, and Jim Everett leading the Rams into Buffalo. The Rams, the only unbeaten team through the first 5 weeks. Meanwhile, tomorrow, game 2 here. Big Daddy Rick Russell pitching for San Francisco. Mike Moore for Oakland. 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific tomorrow. Game 2. Oakland.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Amy, I hear your new teacher's real mean.
Amy, would you come up here and bring your picture with you, please?
Look at the picture.
There's a special power that can bring students and teachers closer together. The power to be your best.
Hey, how's your new teacher? Oh, she's okay.
Here's a great idea. This Halloween, greet the monsters at your door with Happy Halloween certificates from McDonald's. They're 10 for $1. The neighborhood gang can turn them in for free McDonald's dessert treats like cones and sample-sized sundaes. You can count on a safe Halloween with Happy Halloween certificates from McDonald's. Now that's using your head.
Several years ago, Lexus engineers took a long, hard look at the sports sedans of Europe and were so underwhelmed, they decided to create one of their own with luxuries the others lacked, such as bird's eye maple, a 6-speaker stereo, even an airbag. Introducing the Lexus ES250, the luxury sedan of sports sedans.
Lexus, the result of our relentless pursuit of perfection.
Open your eyes up!
Hey, check out the old timer.
Come on, will ya? Come on! I got it. That was the chance of a lifetime.
I know.
Hey, see if you can hang on to this. The best comes shining through.
Hi, I'm Will Clark with the San Francisco Giants, and my favorite show on ABC is McGwire on Monday nights.
Catch McGwire Mondays on ABC. For the Giants, Ken Oberkfell, who pinch hit, stays in the game, plays third, hitting in the number 9 spot. They moved Matt Williams over to shortstop. And going to the mound is Mike Lacoste, who had to leave one of the playoff games with a knee injury. And so he will test it here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Walt Weiss to lead off, then Ricky Henderson and Carney Lansford, and the pitch is taken by Weiss for a strike. 0-1. Lacoste, one of those who is sort of half penciled in for a 4th game on Wednesday night at Candlestick. It's grounded to the right side, and Robbie Thompson will take care of it. 1 away. We say half penciled in because Roger Craig can go a lot of different ways right now. I think a lot of it will depend on where the series stands at that point, whether he would bring Garrelts back or go with Lacoste or just what.
Oh, they played the simulated games as you look at Roger, and so did Tony La Russa with the A's. And it's a perfect chance to get Lacoste in, give him an inning, get his feet back on the ground, see how his knees is. And I think you're exactly right, Al. Depending on what the situation is as far as wins and losses, that'll dictate who pitches that 4th game. For the A's, though, they're going to go with a 4-man rotation. Tony La Russa committed to that. And what that means, of course, is that Dave Stewart would not pitch games 1, 4, and 7, but 1 and 5 only. And as La Russa said yesterday, he said, hey, if I go to a 7th game, I've got Bob Welch, and that's not bad. 2-0.
I think another piece as you look at Dave Stewart, he used to be Dave Smoke Stewart, but since he got away from that nickname of Smoke, he's been a better pitcher. Going to send another good piece of news as you see Dave's mom. Oh, that's nice. Nice hat.
Look at that button.
Great lid. Her son's picture on the hat. But another good piece of news from the Giants quarters yesterday was Don Robinson pitching batting practice, and very successfully, no problem with his right knee. And for that reason, Roger Craig has named him as the number 3 starter Tuesday night in Candlestick. National League's best hitting pitcher, so when we get away from the DH for games 3, 4, and 5, if it is played, this was a slight edge. You would think so. Only problem is they're facing Bob Welch, and the Giants have never beaten Welch at Candlestick. 19-4 lifetime against San Francisco.
Something like 6-0 at Candlestick Park.
Yeah, right.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Henderson. And Ricky gone on strikes. That's the second time he has fanned tonight. So Henderson 2 for 5 on the evening as he goes back. 2 down, and Carney Lansford is the batter.
Third baseman, Carney Lansford.
Funny World Series in the sense it's the first time in 33 years nobody has to stay in a hotel. Players go home tonight. Put in for toll money tomorrow. Soft one-hopper toward the bag at second, and behind it is Thompson to throw Lansford out. So Lacoste has a 1-2-3 inning, and we go to the 9th. It remains 5-0 A's.
Hi. Oh, I haven't seen you guys in so long. Well, we can never never agree on a restaurant, right? Hey, I ordered already. I found us a great wine. Oh, a decision maker. Oh, this is wonderful wine. I had this at David's. I served this at my place. It was a big hit. You guys, I was hoping you hadn't tried it yet. Oh, come on. Look, we finally found something we all agree on, you know? I mean, when was the last time that happened?
Ernest and Julio Gallo invite you to try White Grenache. It will change the way you think about Gallo.
Thanks. Hi, Tim. Dan got sick. You're going to Paris.
Paris?
AT&T International Service.
Blocking off streets all over Paris. My flight gets in at 7:15 a.m.
Whoa,
50 years ago.
Look who we forgot. What are we going to tell him?
This is Paris. And I'm Tim Harris reporting. And down below, the Horse Guards are forming for the Bastille Day Parade.
Colonel, are you setting the route for the parade, or are you in the parade?
I have paid the parade.
AT&T USA Direct, can I help you?
Remember, honey, my parents got married in Paris. What if I find the restaurant in the wedding photo?
This thing doesn't have any name on the restaurant.
That's all right. I'll find it. Just fax me the photo.
We're at the Bastille,
Where it all started 200 years ago. Behind me is the king.
Mom, I know how to do this.
Fax for you. John, I'll call you back. Où est restaurant?
Can you guys make it?
Hello. John, look, you're going to have to cut me a bigger hole back here. I'm getting some incredible stuff. That?
Yes, this is my father, and this is me, the little boy.
It's Tim calling us from Paris.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Tim. Hang on, I've got Kathy on a conference call with us. Dad, we want to take you and Mom to dinner. It's a little place. French.
Give her a kiss now.
Great. Happy anniversary.
I'm so glad you made that call.
AT&T Long Distance. No one else gives you this remarkable power to manage your world. No one.
Thank you for using AT&T.
My spine felt like a lightning rod.
Are you feeling okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
Life goes on tomorrow.
Rebecca!
Followed by the World Series.
Philadelphia Athletics World Series shutouts. Chief Bender, 1905, against the New York Giants. Earnshaw and Grove combined in 1930, and then Earnshaw in 1931. And none since. Stewart, though, is 3 outs away as Will Clark leads off in the bottom of the ninth. Top of the ninth. Clark, Mitchell, and Williams. And that's grounded into center field. So Will Clark trying to get something started as his second hit. And he's hit the ball sharply on 2 other occasions tonight. His line into center in the first and his double to right in the sixth.
Matter of fact, Stewart has not pitched a shutout this year.
Mike Gallego now plays second base, and they move Tony Phillips over to third. And of course, what that does is it gives Carney Lansford the rest of the night off with a tender hamstring. Kevin Mitchell, it's a fly ball in the shallow right center field, and coming in, Canseco can't make the catch. Clark had to hold up and now pulls in at second. So Will, halfway between first and second, had to wait. Canseco can't make the play, and the Giants stir in the ninth with runners at first and second and nobody out.
And again, the opposite fielder gets burned. This time, Canseco. You remember earlier in the game, Mark McGwire blooping a single in front of Candy Maldonado. And now it's Canseco's turn. A nice try by Jose. But it's first and second Giants. The first time tonight that they have had 2 consecutive hits. As a matter of fact, it's the first time they've had 2 men on base in an inning.
Stewart says the magic words to La Russa, so he stays in the bullpen. Rick Honeycutt, the lefty. Gene Nelson, the righty. Here's another look.
Again, a long run for Canseco. Stewart around in left center. Excuse me, Henderson around in left center for Mitchell, who's a pull hitter. And one guy had a chance, and he couldn't come up with it.
Matt Williams, hitless in 3 trips. 1-0. Well, the A's really don't have to be reminded about the bottom of the ninth inning or the end of the game in the opening game of the World Series. Just go back a year. Of course, a different circumstance then. Trying to protect a one-run lead. And the classic confrontation and home run by Gibson with 2 out and 2 strikes. And the Dodgers were on their way. 1-2.
The surprising thing, Al, is both Nelson and Honeycutt still up, and Eckersley, the stopper, with 33 saves last year, 45, still resting on the bench.
I was a little surprised to see that too. Long ball here makes it a 2-run ball game.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The only thing I can think of is that the way La Russa uses Eckersley, he never wants to get him up if he's not going to use him. And so he figures, I still have a 5-run lead. I've got the 2 guys in the bullpen. It's really not time to get him up. I don't know if I'm going to get him in. Which makes a lot of sense, of course, during the regular season. But here, keep in mind, Eckersley still hasn't pitched in 5 days to begin with. So in a World Series dedicated to a late scholar, Game 1 is all A's. Oakland 5, San Francisco nothing.
I got dirty an awful lot when I was little. What am I doing here? You know this.
You're playing baseball.
Yeah, that's right. It came natural to get dirty. Johnson's baby shampoo has been great for my hair all through my life. It's strong. It makes my hair look clean. It makes my hair feel clean, and it's gentle. Look at this kid's hair. I think it looks good.
Johnson's baby shampoo, now also with conditioners for extra control.
I shower 4 or 5 times a day. It's never made me cry.
Johnson's, for the life of your hair.
One of these guys is a pro photographer. One's a dentist. With the autofocus EOS 750, it's tough to tell them apart. Canon EOS. Now you don't have to be a pro to shoot like one. And with the EOS 750, now you don't have to be a pro to afford one. Autofocus Canon EOS, so advanced, it's easy to shoot like a pro.
By the way, Doc, could you look at this tooth?
Now, a $50 rebate direct from Canon.
You can imagine this tower was 300 feet tall. And when it hit his house, and then you see how it flattened the metal. So we got a real good whip out of it.
Hurricane Hugo surprised many people. Allstate's catastrophe team was ready.
With Allstate coming and the adjuster coming as quickly as he did, I think you need them. I really think you need to have a good insurance company like Allstate. Allstate came through when they had to. And I'm glad we have it.
When you've got diarrhea, you can take this. And when you're in real trouble, now you can choose maximum strength Pepto-Bismol. Twice the medicine, twice the Pepto. Ah.
Tomorrow.
Rebecca's father.
Yes, sir. We can't lock her up. Can we lock her up?
Life goes on.
Rebecca!
Tomorrow.
Parker and Weiss hit home runs. McGwire has 3 hits. Henderson has 2, but the night belongs to Dave Stewart. He pitches a shutout, and he's with Gary Thorne. Gary?
Thank you. Well, Dave, magnificent performance. Congratulations. You said you were concerned about early innings because sometimes you run into trouble early. You got out of it tonight.
Well, it's always my main concern, the early innings, because, I do have problems in the early part of the ball game. If I can get past the first 3 innings, then usually I can sail the last 5 or 6 innings, and if I have to go to the bullpen, I feel that I'm pretty safe.
You pitch a lot of innings in the course of a season, but you get back into that 90-mile-an-hour range in that last inning.
Well, it was a necessity for a little extra in that last inning. I wanted to shut out, and the only way I could figure to go about getting it is to strike a couple guys out, especially after a pass ball, and see what happens.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Dave Stewart, winning pitcher of the shutout, and Joe Morgan.
Roger, Dave Stewart shut your hitters down today. Did he show you anything different than you expected?
No, they said he'd come after us with his fastball, and we got ahead, he'd go to split finger, and he had both. He had a good fastball, and he maintained his fastball throughout the ball game and had a good split finger. He didn't throw too many sliders, but he pitched out a big jam there in the ninth inning. You got to give him credit. He did a great job.
Well, you guys have come back from adversity so far this season.
We've done it a lot of times, and, you know, this is just one ball game. We got a lot of games to go. You just got to give Dave Stewart and the A's credit. They beat us tonight.
Good luck tomorrow. Okay. Back up to you, Al.
All right, thank you, Joe. So Dave Stewart is the man. He goes all the way. The final score is 5-0 in game one, and we'll come back to Oakland in just a moment.
We're here on a spot check at our distributor in Meridian, Mississippi. It gets pretty chilly here in the storeroom. Bless you, Ed. But folks here like to keep Bartles and James as cool and fresh as the day we make it. While this is good for our coolers, it is not so good for photography. But it makes sure none of the quality we put into coolers like our new premium blush gets lost before it gets to you. And a cooler is a better tasting cooler. Thank you for your support.
You can imagine this tower was 300 feet tall. And when it hit his house, and then you see how it flattened the metal. So we got a real good whip out of it.
Hurricane Hugo surprised many people. Allstate's catastrophe team was ready.
With Allstate coming and the adjuster coming as quickly as he did, I think you need them. I really think you need to have a good insurance company like Allstate. Allstate came through when they had to. And I'm glad we have it.
Weekends at my morning place. I like to take it slow. Get my breakfast fast, then I make it last. It's the best time that I know. Relaxing with a good time, great taste. You know there's only one place for my weekend McMorning, McDonald's.
It's always my spine felt like a lightning rod.
Are you feeling okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yours are pretty weird.
Life goes on.
Rebecca!
Following the World Series tomorrow.
Monday.
Are you ready for the football?
The undefeated Los Angeles Rams tackle the Buffalo Bills on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. Then on Bangkok's black market, everything has a price. You come looking for more trouble?
Not really. I'm gonna die, pal.
McGwire.
A's got 3 in the second. Dave Parker hit this home run in the third inning. Walt Weiss hit a home run in the fourth, and Dave Stewart pitches a shutout, and game one belongs to Oakland, 5-0. Al Michaels for Jim Palmer, Tim McCarver saying good night from Oakland with a reminder that tomorrow night on ABC Sports, we're back at the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum for Game 2 of the 1989 World Series between the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland A's. Our coverage begins live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And Monday night on ABC's Monday Night Football, Jim Everett and the undefeated Los Angeles Rams try to go 6-0 as they battle the Buffalo Bills live at 9 Eastern time. Aerial facilities provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. See you tomorrow night.
The 1989 World Series, the San Francisco Giants versus the Oakland Athletics, has been brought to you by Miller High Life. Buy that man a Miller. The best comes shining through. By AT&T, the right choice. By Diet Pepsi. For great taste that's a home run every time, it's Diet Pepsi, the right one. And by Lexus Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.